And welcome to Death Before Dishonour. This is Season 5 Qualifier number 3, so should be some good stuff all round and some really good fun. Looks like the title of this is actually wrong, so let's go correct that quickly. This is Qualifier number 3. Let's save that change. And that should sort itself out. I hope you guys are all good in the hood. We have some crazy games for you today. We had a tournament with over 20 players involved. And we are now into the semi-finals. So we're going to see two semi-finals and a finals, of course. Semi-finals are best of 3 and the final is best of 5. And we have Random Mix up against Chosen One, a former Death Before Dishonored champion. I believe he won way back in Season 2. Is going to kick off our first semi-final here on Troll Country. And the second semi-final is going to be between Gobbo Slayer and either Desert Fox or J Phoenix. Those guys are still scrapping out currently in the last quarter-final. Hope you guys are all good. To check out chat quickly. What's up, Ronan, Raptor, Shetland, Ice Power, good sir. I saw that you did very good, man, but unfortunately got knocked out. New for Life, welcome, welcome. And we have a ton of stuff as well to discuss on the stream. Very exciting stuff all round, but let's get this kicked off first. They have wronged us. Looks like we have Dowie versus Lizardmen. Ready? Best of luck, lads. So the maps today are going to be Troll Country, Pillar of Bone and Schwarzerhafen in this first semi-final. In the second semi-final we are going to see Amaxon River, Iron Sand Desert and Northern Chaos Wastes. So there should be some good stuff all round. And yes, this is the first stream since we hit 1,000 subscribers, which is pretty damn cool. So massive shout out to you guys for consistently tuning in and supporting the channel. And I had the good news today as well that YouTube have accepted me into their kind of partner program. So hopefully that should give you guys some pretty cool new tools in chat. I think you guys have access to super chat and stickers now, I think. I don't know, it's my first time doing this type of thing, so we'll have to explore as we do go along. Unfortunately, maybe video, like adverts ahead of some of my videos, but none in the middle. I banned them from doing that, hopefully. So if that does happen, let me know, because I don't want to kind of ruin any, mid-battle experiences, which would suck. So anyway, for the forces of Random Mix now, making his debut, I believe, on the channel, although he's a very veteran tournament player all round. Up in the skies, he has a gyrocopter with brimstone gun. Big fan of this pick. Can do some pretty decent damage. And for his main battle line, it looks like, oh my god, we have Iron Breakers! Yes, I never get to see these elite boys in action. They are as hard as Grombrindle nails. They are incredibly tanky and have blasting charges to help deal with skinks. We have the Norgrim Ironbreakers as well, Regiment of Renowned version. So pretty beefy front line for the most part, and apart from that it is going to be Longbeard, so overall just a line which is going to hold for a ridiculous amount of time while the rest of his army tries to deal the damage, which is of course going to be the Brimstone Gun, this unit of Iron Drake Trollhammer torpedoes. I'd like to have seen 2 of these guys, but he does indeed have some Quarrelers as well, taking a defensive formation on this hill. We have double Slayers, one of which is the Dragonback Slayers. They're going to be hunting down the big nasty monsters, and for a Lord we have Thorgrim Grudgebearer. I haven't seen him for quite some time either. Very good in Doom boxes. Does come with Stand Your Ground, Oath of Vengeance, as well as the Great Book of Grudges. Looks like he hasn't brought the High King one, but still very important stuff all round. So pretty cool defensive build coming in from the Dwarfs. And for Chosen One, the one of the ex-champions there, is coming with triple Pterodon Riders, which are going to be really good here at hunting down that pesky gyrocopter and pressuring the back line. There's not too much pressure there. As for the main battle line, this is a little bit worrying actually. Here's a ton of skink cohorts mixing with red-crested skinks, including the cohort of Sotek. But these guys will get destroyed by blasting charges, so Chosen One has to be very, very careful here and approach with the right units first, which is going to be the Croxigot. We have 1, 2, 3 units of these bad boys, 4 in fact, and they do really decent AP damage, of course. These nasty crocodiles with their big old paddles will force their way through the front line with deadly efficiency. We have 2 Garys as well, Feral Bastillodons, who can do a decent job of harassing that back line. And we also have a Skink Priest of Beasts, of course, coming with Manticore Summon. And interestingly, Flock of Doom. I think Amber Spear would have been better pick here, but we'll have to wait and see. And for Lord, we do have Gorok, probably the best Lord pick in this matchup. He defeats all of the Dwarf Lords relatively comfortably when buffs aren't activated. But here we go. The first battle of the stream is underway. Troll Country, a close quarters map, which would normally favour the Lizardmen here, but looks like the Dwarfs are not taking too much range and relying on that. What's up, Daft Pendragon? All good, man? New for Life supporting the Lizardmen here. Which should be some good stuff. So early on, Brimstone Gun does manage to tap a little bit of damage into the Pterodon Riders, but it is certainly outmatched here by the triple. But at the same time, if he keeps it, relatively close and tight to these Quarrelers and Trollhammers, he should be in decent shape. And he is pushing, of course, with the Brimstone Guns to make sure he is attacking here. Looks like they're saying good luck, have fun, which is always good. And, if you've checked out any of my tournaments before, you'll know that sportsmanship is the most important thing in getting kind of invited back to these type of events. So, Brimstone Gun doing some pretty decent work actually, shutting down these Pterodons early on, with the help of the Quarrelers as well. But as long as they're shooting these flying skinks, they're not attacking the key targets, which is probably going to be the Kroxigor here. In come a lovely blasting charge from the Ironbreakers, and the basic skinks are basically going to do no damage to 90% of this build. They want to get on top of the Slayers, is probably the best bet here. But apart from that, they are not really going to scratch the armour of the Ironbreakers. But in comes the Ferrobasiladon, and be running these guys over. Pterodon's now feeling confident enough to hunt down at the Gyrocopter in combat, which is what needs to happen. Big battle going in the centre pocket as all the Lizardmen kind of stack up on top of one another, going after the Longbeards, but Stand Ground has been popped, and Fulgrim is in here. He'll do some decent work, especially if he drops his debuff down on Gorok, otherwise he has to be a little bit careful. On this right-hand flank as well, Norgrim Ironbreakers desperately trying to hold the line, but there is a lot of Kroxigor here, kind of munching their way through. Slayers are falling back as well, desperate to protect this back line, as a Feral Gary, as well as some Pterodons, have managed to hunt down the rather tough Iron Drake. So these guys aren't going to go down quickly, but they are being harassed relatively successfully so far by Chosen One. Looks like the Dragonback Slayers unfortunately get caught up on Skinks, which is pretty much the only engagement they really don't want out of this entire Lizardman build. Up in the sky, Ferromanticore has been summoned just to help drive off the Gyrocopter in a quicker fashion, before dropping down into the back lines, no doubt. Unfortunately for the Lizardmen, the Skink Priest is running for the hills, but he should rally and come back with another summon. As we can see down here, it's a heavy tank versus heavy tank situation. Fulgrim not taking too much damage here, but neither is Gorok. And unfortunately for the Dowie, all the Longbeards are starting to get pretty beat up around them. Over on this left-hand flank, though, a lovely chuck of blasting charges by the Ironbreakers into these red-crested Skinks is doing some pretty huge damage. You may see a second volley go down here in a second as well, but looks like they're just chilling out for the most part. And the Lizardmen have a pretty good wrap on the game so far, pushing into this back line, shutting down the Quarrelers, and shutting down these Trollhammer torpedoes. However, that Ferromanticore is going to disappear relatively soon, and a lot of the Kroxigor, especially on this flank over here, are really starting to suffer quite badly. I wonder what did so much damage to them. And the Ironbreakers don't have the best damage output, but at the same time they are incredibly tanky, so perhaps through sheer weight of numbers they've managed to hold the line. Ferromanticore is going to help clear up the Iron Drakes, but at the same time it will disappear, of course, and down it goes, in fact, just as I say that. Looks like he is going to be disappearing into the night. And now there's little Skinks trying to attack those guys, and with a whopping 125 armor, the Skinks aren't going to do too much. Things that are going pretty well, though, for the Lizardmen is Fulgrim's on the run here, trying to disappear from Gorok. And, a lot of the Kroxigors are starting to go down, however. This is a pretty tight battle overall. We do some Skinks on the periphery of the battlefield as well, who need to come back, as well as this Skink Priest. Dropping another Manticore summon, probably to try and assassinate the High King, would be a pretty good play here. Pterodons can now probably have free reign to hammer down those Trollhammer torpedoes as well. There's a very healthy Gary in the back line, shrugging off the Dragonback Slayers and launching some of these poor Dwarfs down the hill. In comes a huge volley of blasting charges into the Kroxigor as well as the Cohort of Sotek, doing some pretty solid damage all round. And the balance power for the first time creeps in favour of the Dowie forces. Longbeards over on this flank will easily deal with Skink Cohort without taking too much damage. And Kroxigor on the periphery as well need to come back in. At this point, the Lizardmen really need to get rid of Fulgrim for any hope of winning here. But the Ironbreakers are just too tough. I think even with the King fallen, they've got very good leadership. They're surrounded by Longbeards as well, so of course they'll be grumbling for those bad boys not to run away. And it's going to be pretty damn tough. Gorok still chasing that Dowie booty the best he can here. But Fulgrim, he's got 4 guys. That's a lot of pairs of legs. So he's managed to escape here with a whopping 30 speed. Gorok very slowly catching up here, but it looks like some Slayers will be sacrificed to block these guys off. As more Skinks and Kroxigors clear up some Longbeards on the periphery here. Up in the skies, the Pterodon Riders are pretty much spent. at least these tuners here. One has just been shattered. We have one unit left, but at the same time, they're not going to have too much damage output. Their best use of their time would probably be to hunt down these Quarrelers, try to save this Gary here by assassinating the last 6 Dragonback Slayers, or chasing down routing troops. Then this really important blob fight, the Lizardmen forces are abandoning the Great White Lizard here, who does pop a Rock of Itza to hold strong, but Oath of Vengeance is down on him as well, and Thorgrim is just going to town, beating back the Great White Lizard, who comes in with a glorious shield bash. That is going to be enough. Pterodon Riders do hunt down into the back line and swoop upon the Quarrelers. And over in the distance, it looks like the Feral Gary did at least kind of rally to the cause here. And the Trollhammers, as well as these Longbeards, are being forced off as well. So Lizardmen's certainly not out of it yet. They do summon a Feral Manticore as well. And now is the time, now is the hour. They must assassinate Thorgrim. But it looks like Gorok has actually gone down by the swarm of Dowie forces. And I think that is going to proc army losses once this Manticore does disappear. So he's going to desperately try and bring him back. Maybe if he rallies Gorok, there's a way back into this. But even then, the Great White Lizard is very wounded at this point. The overcast Flock of Doom is going down as well, eating through some of these Slayers and trying to assist the Manticore in its deadly duty of hunting down Thorgrim. But even, all Dwarfs are tanky, but Thorgrim is especially tanky, and he's kind of, eating those shots, which is pretty good for him. Looks like we are going to have a rare Dowie victory. We don't often get to see these guys on stream too much. There's not many competitive Dowie players, but people who know how to use them certainly, are very, very potent and deadly with them. It looks like Random Nix as well has proven he's a Dowie veteran here. Looks like the Skink Priest just chilling on the periphery here as well. Feral Gary is coming back, and it looks like Gorok has returned to the field as well. Unfortunately, the Feral Manticore didn't have any support when it went in, and the Slayers managed to kind of swarm it and force it back. So pretty cool stuff. Looks like we are getting ready for the final showdown here as well, as all the Lizardmen troops do try to rally together as much as possible. Chosen One trying to give himself a bit of breathing time as well while he hunts down kind of the troops on the peripheries and forces them out, which is completely fine. But the Feral Manticore does unfortunately go down. Pterodon Riders are out of ammunition at this point as well, but the blasting charges aren't. Ironbreaker's launching a few more shots in there just to kind of, pop a middle finger up to the Croxigor. And, they'll do some okay damage, and at the same time, though, popping on the Skinks would probably be better and be able to shatter that unit. Looks like Gorok and the glorious Basildon is going to be moving in at this point. The Dwarfs have formed a defensive box, but are going to be moving forward as well, which of course they do need to do, but they have the Quarrelers consistently shooting, which is fine. Lizardmen certainly don't want to kind of wait that out. But there's still 61 Norgremlins, Ironbreakers. Those guys are going to be impossible to deal with for pretty much the entirety of this Lizardmen build. They instantly shatter the Skink cohorts with their glorious beards there, instilling fear into the Skinks. And both the Garys do go in, but it looks like they're going down pretty quickly here. Some of the Croxigors do have Oath of Vengeance popped on them as well, just to force them off. And there's army losses, so game 1 to the Dowie, which is pretty awesome stuff. Forest Blob Bannon. Just chilling in the trees at the end there. He still had some Quarrelers firing, which is all good stuff. But welcome, welcome guys. Seen a load of you guys have popped in. Hope you are doing all good. So yeah, really impressive display overall. Really liked this build. Interesting to see the Ironbreaker kind of Doom box with the Longbeards. Haven't seen it in quite some time. I didn't think it was going to pack enough punch to realistically push through all the Croxigor, but they managed to had a perfect answer to all the Skinks, which basically got no value from any of them, and they slowly ground down the bigger monsters in the end. Chosen One's build though was still incredibly solid, so just unfortunately for him there, got a little bit outpicked. Ironbreakers are just OP. GG. Pillar of Bone next. So let's update to Pillar of Bone. Ooh, and I'll update the scoreboard. And I will come and chill with you guys for a second. The Bone Zone. The Bone Zone indeed. Let's update the scoreboard while I think about it. Random Nix going 1 up in this best of 3 series. Make sure stream's all good for you guys. Cool. Looks like we're all good. So how's everyone doing? Welcome, Ivan. Mr. Shetland, how's it going, man? Really enjoyed the replay you sent in the other day. And Bob, welcome. Poison Ducky, the man, the myth, the legend. And Jorah. Does anyone feel like Darv and Duck are the same person? We're unfortunately not the same person, but Darv is a really cool dude, actually. I've spoken to him like a little bit before, and He's kind of shouted out my channel a few times and stuff. He's a really awesome dude. He actually helped me get set up with CA as well. Kind of talk to those guys. What's up, Zachary? How's it going? Quack quack. Davina as well. Nice to see you guys here. Samurai Warrior as well. So many people checking us out. Thank you. So Random next is going Coast. And he's going to ban Empire and Dowie. Chosen one. Not a big fan of this, unfortunately, saying G's. Coast is my least favourite faction to face. It's really hard to break through. But welcome to everyone who did miss the start. We are, of course, here with the semi-finals and finals of Qualifier 3 of Season 5 of Death Before Dishonour. The winner of this will book their place in the Grand Finals alongside Inticity, who won Round 1, and Suave, who won Round 2. Just some pretty cool stuff. And after this, probably next week, we'll have the 4th qualifier to see who does get the last part. Are you guys going to have a duck off? We've had many duck off, actually, me and Poison Ducky. We sometimes end up meeting in tournaments, which is always a sad day for duck kind, of course. Yes, for those who missed it, I forgot to say, we reached the 1,000 mark. Whoop whoop. So we're now officially YouTubers, which is kind of cool. So you guys do have a load more access, hopefully. I haven't really checked it all out because I haven't had time. I only found out today. But you guys should have like special stuff in chat, I think. I didn't really read through the whole thing, but you guys have like super chat and super stickers and all that kind of basic stuff now, which is kind of cool. Where's the fun at? Oh no. Oh no, we're going to see an undead off. Well, possibly. I think this is actually pretty good for Coast. Because what you do is you get the Gunnery Wight. I think it's the Gunnery Wight. Whoever has the spell or whatever it is, which gives you magic damage, basically, and increases your range, but you don't worry about the range. You drop it down on top of, like, Luther, and he just goes around and assassinates Banshees. But it looks like Chosen One may be putting out to the Wood Elves, who are due a pimp up relatively soon. But yes, I hope Chosen One goes for Hallie's kite builds of double Sally Razordon. That'd be pretty good fun. Have you guys ever met the CA Duck in the field? I met Agony. No, not Agony Duck. I met a Duck, but he's changed his name since then. 10,000. 1,040 subs. Indeed, Ronan. We're growing, which is always good to see. And we will be doing a big celebration stream, by the way. It was meant to be yesterday, but I'm waiting on... I've basically ordered some really funny prizes to be created, kind of duck-themed prizes. So we're going to do 2 giveaways plus a prize for a special stream we're going to do. But that'll be when the prize actually get here, because I kind of organised it when I had about 900 subs, but we kind of overtook the 1,000 way quicker than I thought we did, so they're still in production right now. But when that does happen, obviously it'll be announced to my Discord, and it's going to be good fun. You guys are going to get a chance to kind of win some duck prizes. It's kind of cool stuff. Cool, it looks like we are going to be getting Wood Elves here. It's a tough matchup for Wood Elves, for sure. I recently tried actually going triple Arrows of Kurnos, so having no caster, but a Glade Lady and 2 Waystalkers just to try and deal with the artillery. But you can either try to outshoot them, which is really risky, or you can try to bomb rush them, which again is pretty risky. But those are kind of the only 2 plays here. Make the rule that Vampire Coast need to bring Queen Bess, yeah. Yes, Spiteful Shot and Luther. That's what I'm talking about, Ice Power. And thank you, Raptor, for pinning the bracket. Yeah, so you can see what the boys were up to. Let's actually check to see if we know who's going to be in the other semi-final yet. We don't. So Sifters at Fox are still fighting Jay Phoenix. The winner of that will be up against Gobbo Slayer in the next round. Hopefully those guys will be finished before this set is over. But we can always chill out in the meantime and stuff. Hopefully we don't see more silly greenskin blobs. I haven't seen too many so far, so we're all good. What's up, Doctor? Hope you're all good, man. Good showing as always in the tournament. Getting quite far. I feel like Tomb Kings are pretty good here. Wood Elves feels like such a challenge to Shetlands. Yeah, it depends what Chosen One's used to. For example, I don't really play undead factions, so up against Coast it is always quite tough. But yeah, I can see Tomb King's doing some pretty decent work overall up against the undead. Undead factions in general tend to be relatively quite powerful, simply because of crumbling, summons, and all that good stuff. But they're certainly beatable. They're not kind of as broken as people make it out to be. I have no idea what army to take on this map. Well, we'll have to wait and see. I'm hoping for a Wood Elf Rush build. Be kind of fun. Jay needs to win just for his name. Wait, you lost first round, Daxter. Damn, I thought you got further, man. But I know, was it the last one you got to the semi-finals or finals? I remember having you on stream. That was an awesome time. So yeah, we are going to be on Pillar of Bone. If it does go all the way to the third game, we are going to be on Schwarzenhafen, which hopefully I'm saying that name right. And then round 2 will be between Gobbo Slayer, Desert Fox, or J Phoenix, which I'm excited about. Looks like Chosen One is indeed ready. Just waiting on the random one. Looks like he's figuring his stuff out, which is there's no rush. A battle, not so it can be completely lost in this stage of the game where they're picking their armies, but it's certainly possible. And it can really put you at a huge disadvantage if you, get completely counterpicked. So you do want to kind of cover all your options. And there's the risk and reward system. You can either go quite balanced, so you can take on, you have a decent chance no matter what your opponent brings, or you go really heavily in kind of, all rush or all gun line, and pray to kind of overwhelm your opponent doing that, which is probably a little bit riskier. Random Mick said he clicked delete army by accident. That's fine. I'm sure he knows what he's doing. Can Waystalker fight Luther? I bet he can give it a good go. He's going to get annihilated by pistol shots. But Waystalker can do decent work. He can remain hidden for quite a while, I suppose, and do consistent damage over time. I really like Waystalkers against Empire at the moment to deal with artillery, but also to use Arrows of Kernos on casters and Wolfheart, who seems to be the go-to Empire user at the moment. Yo, what's up, Zuchon Smith? How's it going? Only 16 likes. Yes, smash that like button if you are enjoying. It does actually help push out the stream to more people, so we can see more of you glorious guys in chat. Maybe you'll see Orion's Horn here. I'm a big fan of Orion's Horn. That sounds a bit weird. But the Horn of the Wild Hunt. And kind of overwhelming very quickly with like a Dryad Rush and Wild Riders just darting to and forth can do good. It looks like that actually might be exactly what we're getting, but we'll look through Random Nix's build first. So in the back lines for artillery, he does have a double mortar, which is to be expected. These guys chew through the light armour of the Elven forces. Really good at dealing with Waystalkers, Scouts, Glade Guard, all that nasty stuff. In Deep Reserve, it looks like we're going to get a ton of gunnery mobs as well, which is to be expected. These guys cheap, cheerful, and they have decent damage output. Can also slowly bog down the enemy as well. And of course they're unbreakable, so even if you catch them, they take a while to die. He does have triple Mongols, which is very risky, but also very powerful. One of which is going to be the Regiment of Renowned Knight Terrors. Now these guys get obliterated by Bowfire. They get destroyed crazy quickly. You get some Deepwood Scouts with Swift Shiver Shards. These guys are dead in seconds. However, if they can avoid arrow fire, they are a menace in the night for all Wood Elves. Looks like we have triple bombers as well. They do some pretty decent damage in that front line, and a load of deckhand mobs holding it down in the front. We also have some scurvy dogs. So pretty solid build all round. Where is the Lord? Where are you hiding? Ah, over here. Looks like we have Count Noctilus on foot, which is to be expected, bringing all his summons and invocation from the heck. So pretty standard stuff. And I've just seen the deployment here of Chosen One, and it is glorious. This is going to be a very quick battle, one way or another. We have a Tree Man in the back line. If only Aristodemus was here. This is his favourite unit in the game. Pretty useless all round, but I suppose it will soak up damage, which can be pretty good. We do have a ton of Dryads dotted all the way around with a glorious Vanguard build coming all the way back there. We have Wild Riders with shields as well. The shields are very important actually, because shields in this give Wild Riders silver shields, which for light cav is pretty damn impressive. We have some Sisters of Thorn as well, coming with some fantastic map control abilities in the Curse and Shield of Thorns. And for Lord, of course, we do have the mighty Orion with Horn of the Wild Hunt, Cloak of Isha, and all that good stuff. And we do have a Branch Wraith, which makes sense in a Vanguard build, coming in with Earthblood, Pendulum, and Scroll of Shielding. Pretty cool stuff. It's going to be an interesting game. I'm just worried for this Wood Elf build up against the Mongols. I suppose Wild Riders need to get really good charges on those guys, or get Orion in there to help deal with them. But yes, here we go. A load of shots of these guys do turn to engage, and the Mongols are going to chew through these Giants very quickly. Orion needs to get in here and help these guys out with his bonus versus large and really shut them down. Looks like we are going to have the Hounds of Orion here darting through some handgunners, doing some fantastic damage. And unfortunately, these Wild Riders get a lovely charge into the Mongols, but get counter-charged by Scurvy Dogs. Shield of Thorns, however, should keep these guys nice and healthy. They are rather squishy. Dryads are pushing through the front line, and Wild Riders bomb rush the gunnery mobs and flood into the back lines. I dropped a plate in excitement from my desk, as these bombers are now going to be getting shut down. They need to be focus fired down. We're going to see a lovely pendulum as well coming through the bombers. This is some crazy micro coming in from both players here. The Wood Elf charge did a ton of damage, but they're very quickly running out of steam as they haven't been able to push finally into kind of the very centre pocket here. Dryads are being annihilated everywhere we look. Mongols are being kind of real MVPs so far, pushing back Wild Riders, and they've completely stalled that entire backline push, which is where most of the Wood Elf pressure was coming from. Wild Riders do start to shut down some bombers, but there's enemies that completely surround them here. Sisters of Thorn have darted in with Dryads and the Branch Wraith, but this is looking pretty rough already for the Wood Elf forces. Treeman is lumbering towards the back line, and Orion is completely surrounded, but he is mighty. And he's taken down a lot of Mongols. This might be a tiny bit of a mistake, honestly, surrounding Orion at this point with the Mongols. He's unbreakable. He's going to die pretty damn slow, especially with Cloak of Isha. I would spread out the Mongols and hunt down the Wild Riders, the Dryads, and all of that. Force these guys off, break them as quickly as possible before coming back to surround Orion in the late game. The Bombers have managed to stabilise in the centre pocket, and that's going to be a big worry. Treeman is trying to push his way through into the back lines to help finish off some of the gunners, which are the main threat to him at this point. Looks like Random Exeni he expected a rush, but not from the back. Wild Riders do manage to dart in and completely shut down a gunnery mob before floating over onto the mortar as well. We have Sisters of Thorn returning to the fray with some lovely pirate gunnery mob summons, allowing them to turn and unleash a load of shots into Orion here, who is still hanging on there in there, just about. He's up to 56 kills though, which is pretty impressive stuff. But that health, because he is regenerating slowly, but I might be able to do enough damage to actually completely kill him, which should be huge. Down to just 40 health, 50 health, and he is gone. And with that, the hearts of the Wood Elf people are going to falter here. Crazy build. Did a ton of damage on the initial shock charge in, but failed to really break into that centre pocket. But the much bigger problem with those Mongols, they just countered the build so nicely, destroyed the Dryads, and completely single-handedly crushed that backline advance. Wild Riders did decent damage all around, unfortunately, apart from the one unit which did get caught up with some Mongols as well as some Scurvy Dog charges. And these guys played very good as well throughout. You saw them chasing off units in the periphery. And unfortunately, the mighty Orion just about couldn't hold on there for the glorious victory. GG. That was pretty mental. Let's see. The tree was a bad idea. Oh, that's pretty funny. Looks like they're just chilling, having a good time. That is going to be 2-0 here to Random Nicks, who you will see in the finals. Hopefully the other quarterfinals are going to be wrapping up at this point. They've been playing for quite some time. And it looks like a Desert Fox did manage to make it in a 2-1 match, which is exciting stuff. So we'll hop over to that in just a second. What do you guys think of that? Well, that escalated quickly. It did indeed, man. It did indeed. That was awesome. Hope you guys enjoyed that fight. That was some crazy stuff. Thanks for playing, Chosen. And see you in the finals. Random. Tune in to stream to see when the finals are. Cool. When these guys hop out, we all get the other guys in. Risky plan from Chosen, very risky. But, you know, it did decent work all round. It was a very quick 2-0, but Chosen still doing some decent work. So, while these guys are talking, let's see. Yep, I've updated the scoreboard. Good stuff. We'll wait to see what order the other lads do come in. So, Sif and Gobbo. You guys are up. Cool. Well, that was fun, except the Dowie game. That's pretty funny. GG, Wood Elves definitely need some love. And they're getting it, Beastie. They're getting the love. They are going to be the next DLC I'm crazy excited for. Go. Yep. Awesome. Yes. Go. Down he goes. See you in... go. So the lobby is now open, and the first map is going to be River Maxon. Hey, bud. Let's update the score. So 2-0 series there to random mix, real dominant display, which is always good to see. Next, we will have Gobbo Slayer. Coming up against Sif. Desert Fox. And here he is. Howdy everybody, says Gobbo Slayer. I see that practice last night paid off for you, Fox. Looks like these guys do know each other as well. Can't wait for Wood Elves Beastmen and Norscan update. I think Norscan and Beastmen might wait to game 3. Because kind of the chaos theme, but we'll see. Maps are... Maxon River. Iron Sand Desert. Oh. And Northern. Chaos Wastes. There's a Fox saying you can still exploit my lack of faction knowledge, so perhaps he only kind of, mains 1 or 2 factions. Let's go Gobbo, says Ronan. Representing the XMD here, Extreme Meme Ducks. So for those who don't know, Extreme Meme Team and Death Before Dishonour have become sister clans, which is pretty damn cool stuff. So they can still represent themselves in tournaments, but can also represent Extreme Meme Ducks. Or Extreme Duck Memes, as I prefer to go. Iron Sand Desert. Sounds disgusting. It does indeed. Last night, Fox and I were sparring. Ooh, Poison Ducky. Do you know who he likes to play? Also, Chosen One needs to put a space between his clan tag and his name. Ah, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, these guys have been fine for a long time now. The tournament started at 4, and it's coming up to 7:15 here in the UK. In the sweltering heat, we've actually had thunderstorms, so luckily it's calmed down while I'm streaming, so hopefully everything kind of stays all good. Cool. Gobbo Slayer is a big think .jpg, so roger that. He's thinking a little bit. And to sign his faction, Gobbo Slayer, very good player all round. Did get to either the semi-final or final in one of the previous heats this season. And he's kind of been a regular competing in these tournaments, so it's always good to see him around. He's a very good player. Pretty sure he's more of a Rome 2 player than Warhammer 2. What's up, Zadargan? It's going good, man. It's going all good. What's happening with Dwarfs? They get any love this side of Total Warhammer 3? I'm not sure. They might end up, because Chaos Dwarfs are probably going to be coming in Total Warhammer 3, either as a DLC or a starting faction, probably DLC. So I feel like if they were going to be DLC, they'd probably save the Dwarves for that, for some dwarf on dwarf violence. But maybe that might be a little bit, too much. Sigma of Death! Yes, Eric. Praying for some Empire, I see, man. Good to see you, dude. Is Gobbo Slayer a gobbo that slays, or one who slays gobbos? Well, I believe he loves Dowie, so I think he's a gobbo disguised as a Dowie who likes to kill gobbos, is what I would say. A budget Gobbo King. He's the one who killed Gobbo King, I suppose. All my regretted name ducks before Dishonour. Too many ducks and love gooses. We do indeed have a goose in the duck clan, which is pretty funny. Geese Howard is a true lad. Let's see. So Gobbo Slayer is going lizards and figure out his bands. We're not going to see any of my Druchii, are we? That's why you had to get knocked out, Ice Power, because the Dark Elves would otherwise reign supreme over my stream once again. Gobbo's a good player. He's a really good player. Gobbo Slayer is faced me a couple of times on ladder. I think I faced him a couple of times in streams as well. I've managed to get the better of him once, I think, and then he beat me the other kind of 2 or 3. Let's have a little drink as well while we wait for these boys to sort themselves out. Here's a dog, and actually, I put up a video on Troy. It is free today, guys, if you do go catch it. So if you go download Epic Games Store, you can get it for free. I was quite lucky, I had a little bit of early access. Played around with it a little bit. It's not my type of game, personally, compared to Total War Warhammer, so my content's basically going to just stay Warhammer based, unless people really want me to do, you know, a Troy campaign or something. It's pretty fun. It's an improvement, I think, over some of the historic titles. It doesn't have the same scope of them, obviously, because it's a saga series, so it's a bit smaller of a game, where they're trying out new mechanics and like. It's a bit smaller, there's no cav, but kind of light infantry works as cav, which is pretty interesting. And they've tried to basically incorporate some of the cool stuff from Warhammer into a historic title. So it's got like mixed responses, because obviously some people are kind of like die-hard the old school games, and some people are die-hard Warhammer, and it's kind of a little bit of mix of both. So I don't know what the reception is going to be like, but it is a fun game. I recommend picking it up while it's free, at least, just to play some campaigns. But yeah, you know, those are kind of my thoughts, I suppose. Gobbo Slayer, sorry for the slowness. I'm running on low sleep and high caffeine. Ditto. It looks like caffeine is running through their veins. Dork Elves and Coast are going to be the bands. 2 very good bands. I actually don't mind facing Dark Elves anymore as Lizardmen, just because I had to face it so many times. And it looks like we're seeing Vampire Counts now. This is a matchup, probably my second most hated matchup as a Lizardman player, which may confuse some people, because Vampire Counts are known to be, you know, really weak to Lizardmen. But if someone does it, for one, you know they're going to be very strong with Counts, and 2, it's guaranteed to be an absolute grind fest, because Counts are going to slow roll the game. They're going to have a load of Banshees in, and they're basically going to slowly try to hack down kind of your lords and big dinosaurs with them, and countercharge, psychocharge, with Terrorgeists. So that's basically how the game always goes. And with Lizardmen, because of that, you're forced basically to go in a death box, get, you know, a load of Temple Guard, a load of big nasty dinosaurs, rocking alongside a Carnosaur or something. So I'm not the biggest fan of the matchup, but we'll see. Maybe these guys will try something a little bit different. I'd kind of actually love to see a Lord Croak pick, but yeah, Lord Croak's very risky all round. Are there chariots? Yes, there are chariots in Troy. Yeah, they've got some pretty cool ideas of like the weather and stuff. I agree. So there's some cool stuff in the game. It's just personally, I'm not going to play it like a huge amount. But that's not because it's like a bad game by any means. It seems pretty damn fun. One thing I will say from it, which I hope they do bring in to Warhammer 3, is the map design is incredibly cool. That in the distance you see kind of like I'm not sure like the best way to put it, like off the top of my head. I'm just thinking of the film Hercules from when I'm a kid, like the artwork from that. So like you know where they did like all the artwork on the pots and stuff before, like the black artwork? That is like along the distance in the sky, and it looks incredible. And the map is kind of done as, I think, the Shogun map was, where it's actually kind of like artistically done, rather than just a fog of war where you can't see. So a few artistic choices like that I'm a kind of big fan of, which I think they can bring into the game for Total War and stuff. Davina, hope to see you in some tournaments soon as well. Amazons are going to have cav units, that's going to be cool. I think they're going to be a DLC which is coming out. Lizardmen have a ridiculous advantage here. It's pretty good, but honestly, Vampire Counts players have adapted over time to really kind of, make this matchup much more of like a 60-40 percentage. But most of them just try to avoid it. And Lizardmen players don't really practice against this because, you don't think your opponent's going to bring it, but they do. And it's Double Banshee Madness, Morris Engine, all that good stuff. It just seems grindy. Yeah, that can happen in some of the historic games, I think. They can get a little bit grindy. But some people enjoy that. Some people want the longer games. Slower pace, less micro-intensive, I would say. My one problem with like historic games, I suppose historically from all the games I played before, is it's a lot more about you can't really bat through a front line very quickly. There's no real way to do it. Whereas in something like Total Warhammer, you can use magic, big creatures, you can fly to kind of break into the back line. But apart from that, it basically becomes everyone goes very wide with heavy infantry in the center, and all you're doing is protecting archers and trying to surround your enemy. And it's kind of the same every game. That's from my limited kind of playing of like Rome 2 and stuff. So don't take my word for it. There's a lot of players out there who know a lot more about it than I do. Looks like Goblin Slayer is ready. Good luck, have fun, no worries. Let's get this second semi-final underway. Oh, so you get the Amazons free as well if you have a Total War Access account. That's cool. That's some cool stuff indeed. But yeah, the game overall does look pretty good fun. But I am just personally more excited for the next kind of like Warhammer DLC of the Wood Elves. A big fan of Wood Elves, and I just want them to have a few more kind of advantages of like different ways they can play and stuff, different styles. Medieval 2 my play was incredibly fun. I did play Medieval 2 as a kid, but I never really got into multiplayer at the time. I was more of a campaign man. I've kind of switched over in recent years. But let's see. And welcome guys who have joined partway through. I see we've got I think coming up to like 57-ish watchers, which is I think a record, which is pretty damn awesome. So thank you for tuning in. If you are enjoying what you see, feel free to drop a like button or smash that like button, because it does spread this out to more people and lets me know you like this type of content so I can focus on it in the future. Anyway, for the forces of the mighty Gobbo Slayer here, we do have a pretty damn interesting build with double Bastiladon Solar Engine. Now, these guys are brought because not only do they do fire damage, they do magic damage. So they're very good against a lot of the threats such as Banshees and Terrorgeists. We do have a Feral Carnosaur, one of the goodest boys in the world, here to protect a Slan Mage Priest of High Magic. So no Mazdamundi on Zlak, which you can often see. Instead opting for a ground slam, but he's going to be coming in with Tempest, Apotheosis, and is that Hand of Glory? It's a Soul Quench, in fact. That's pretty awesome stuff. He has also brought the Blood Statue of Spite and all his good abilities, including Banishment, which can do some disgusting damage in this matchup. And as expected, it is going to be a Doom box. We have Saurus Warriors blocking the flanks. Oh, sorry, I've got a police car going by my window there. We have Cohort of Sotek in the back, more Saurus Warriors as well. Swords with spears, one unit of Skink Skirmishers, and then Star Chamber Guardians. Only the one Temple Guard here. Looks like he has, instead of a second unit, kind of decided to go for a Saurus Scar Veteran and an extra Gary here. So Saurus Scar Veteran, anti-large, can do some decent damage if a Terrorgeist does swoop in. But interesting build. It's going to be fun to see how it does perform. Now coming in for Sif Fox, making his debut on the channel. I think actually, no, he's had a replay up on the channel before, but making his debut on stream. Is coming in with the cheapest and cheerful of all units in the game, Zombies! Look how happy these boys look. They're basically peasants and their lives are just as miserable. They're here to soak up the initial damage, take the charges, and slowly tire out the opponent. In secondary line, as expected, we have the Sternsmen and a ton of Graveguard with great weapons. These guys can do fantastic work up against those Saurus Warriors, which is going to be a really big scare here for Gobbo Slayer, I find. Down here in the dirt, we do have double Banshees, as well, to be expected. They're going to be trying to hunt down that Carnosaur as much as possible. They do have to be a bit careful. Slans can actually beat these ladies in combat relatively handily due to their magic damage. We also have Vlad von Karstein on foot, looking very menacing, hiding behind a tree. Up in the skies, we have a couple of units of Fellbats, looks like just the two. Over the far side of the battlefield, we do have a couple of units of Blood Knights. So if going for Blood Knights instead of Terrorgeists here, Going to allow him to cycle charge maybe a little bit more efficiently without the risk of getting bogged down and not able to take off. There should be some good fun. These double Basidons are certainly going to have to get some good value here. He's kind of stocked up a lot of money into these guys and not gone quite so heavy with the Temple Guard. I prefer Temple Guard myself to help deal with the Grave Guard. But I suppose, enough Saurus and enough well-placed Slan Mage Priest banishments can perhaps win the day here. First Solar Blast does go into the Sternsman, a perfect target. These guys have regeneration, and therefore they have a rather nasty weakness to fire of 25%. Looks like the Chameleon Skinks are pushing forward. These guys are a little bit worried they're just going to get overrun as soon as the battle does actually start here. We'll have to wait and find out. And the Sternsman taking some pretty big losses here, down to 74 models out of the gate. But of course, there is indications, and I like that Vlad is bringing to the table. Star Chamber Guardians are actually pushing up towards the front line here. And the Skink Skirmishers currently just peppering into some zombies. I suppose it is at least slowing them down. Looks like these lads just saying good luck, have fun. Oh. Yep, oh, good stuff. And we are going to see something go down the Banshee. It is that Soul Quench, which is a... Oh my god, that is a glorious shot by the Slan. I don't know why I haven't thought of this before. I've always bought the solar engines for this, and the Banshees just both got half shot in one blast. And this Banshee on the left may go down. He's decided to Invocation of Nahek, the second Banshee. Looks like it was overcast as well, so it was an error effect, but didn't catch the second one. Perhaps he has given up on this guy as he is minus 24 leadership and thinks he's just going to crumble to the dirt. But huge big brain play there by Gobbo Slayer hunting those guys down. In the front line, we do have a very well-placed Blood Statue of Spite onto the Sternsman, and the Sword Scar Veteran has been placed as well to try and deal with them. Second Banshee does manage to dodge some of the early attacks there, and this other Banshee has managed to make it to combat, trying to get value where it can on the Feral Carnosaur, who may as well just turn and engage and finish off. That Banshee is done for. Slan Mage Priest is going to hover over to the second Banshee, no doubt, and start attacking him. This is a big misplay here by Desert Fox. I've seen a lot of people attack Slans with Banshees, and if they decide to fight, which is a big if, they destroy Banshees very efficiently. Lovely cycle charging in the back line though from the Blood Knights. It's really starting to break the back of this Lizardmen horde. They need to drop a banishment like right now. And it looks like that is exactly what Gobbo Slayer is going to do, as the front line is really starting to struggle quite bad. A huge banishment comes down, tearing apart mainly zombies, unfortunately. Oh no, it's coming back round. It is indeed looping back round. That banishment is doing insane damage along the front line. A lot of it is to zombies, but clearing out the chaff is very important in this matchup as well. That just destroyed 3 units of zombies and huge damage on top of the Graveguard. Glorious Lizardman play so far. Looks like we also do have a Apotheosis going down on the Saurus Spears, just trying to allow them to hold the line a little bit longer. But the Blood Knights are very healthy, so we've got 1 unit here, and the second unit as well has darted in on top of the Feral Carnosaur. Carnosaur is a good answer to these guys, but Invocation Heck and Dance Macabre down on them is going to make them incredibly scary combatants overall. Vlad has managed to push into the back line. Temple Guard as well, doing a decent job, just forcing off the Blood Knights where possible. And it looks like for the most part the Lizardmen are in the ascendancy. Their front line is slowly getting torn apart. Slan Mage Priest up to 210 kills, and he still has a banishment in the back as well. Comes down with a Soul Quench into the Blood Knights, managing to kill a couple of unit models. Nothing quite so crazy as before, and he's pushing out the Star Chamber Guardians. I think he needs to keep these guys a little bit higher and tighter. Doesn't want to be taking any charges or anything, but looks like he does actually brace here, which is some pretty good play, but it isn't hitting him in the flank. And these Star Chamber Guardians, all of a sudden, they're completely surrounded by Blood Knights on the charge. It's very scary stuff. He wanted to keep these guys tighter to his big monsters, fight as one big fist, and kind of punch through the cav every time they do push in. Otherwise, they're just going to bounce around and cycle charge like they're currently doing. There are some sneaky skinks hiding in the forest here, going to be adding their poison blow darts to the affair, which is kind of really quite big. Poisoning down the Blood Knights and making them weaker and slower is always helpful. The Saurus Scar Veteran doing okay, completely surrounded by Graveguard, but up to 29 kills, not too bad. He's been a strong boy so far. Looks like he's trying to hop onto these Blood Knights, who are once again getting healed up by an Invocation on the Heck. The double Garys unleashing hell upon these Blood Knights. Hell hath no fury like an angry Gary. And the Blood Knights getting poisoned here as well, slowing down their charge. They're probably going to get annihilated here. Their leadership does bounce back up as they get into combat, but never underestimate a angry Bastardon. Going to come in here, and Blood Knights are certainly done for. However, the front line has finally been won by the Undead. Graveguard with great weapons have pushed through those two relatively healthy units of those bad boys, and over in the distance, the Sternsmen still fighting strong despite the huge amount of damage they took early on. And of course, these guys have regeneration up to 48 kills, doing good work so far. Graveguard here are slowly starting to crumble. Balance power heavily in favour of the Lizardmen here, and really impressive stuff so far by Gobbo Slayer. Played this absolutely perfectly, as the Graveguard are being forced back here and slowly crushed by the double Garys. In comes Vlad, trying his best. He's not the biggest damage dealer, however, he's more there just for his sustainability. Some Blood Knights have managed to pop Dance Macabre on themselves and surround the Feral Carnosaur. Lovely play here, the 2-for-1 combo. Master as well coming down on here, minus 40 melee attacks. The Carnosaur basically doing nothing to these Blood Knights, and they're going to wreak some huge damage here. But Star Chamber Guardians have had enough of this, or if Quetzal has been popped down, and they're going to be launching over towards this Blood Knight. A Banishment does come down, nowhere near as successful as before, but he did manage to pull back his Star Chamber Guardians to make sure he didn't really catch anything of importance. Single entities don't really get hurt by it too much. Looks like army losses is setting in, and that is going to be game 1 to Gobbo Slayer. A very good performance. Very impressed with his build overall. I was pretty worried at the start that he wasn't going to have enough to hold the front line, and he didn't. I mean, it did push through, but by that point he had killed the key targets. That Soul Quench at the start was amazing. It pretty much killed one of the Banshees. It took it out of play. It kind of got in there and did a tiny bit of damage to the Carnosaur, and the second one got down to about half health. He had to rush it in at that point. Couldn't risk it getting shot down by the Garys. Oh my god, look how slowly Vlad crumbles, even with army losses in play. Push him in, and then, you know, his unfavourable engagements up against the Slann and the Star Chamber Guardians. Awesome stuff. What a game. What a game. That was cool stuff. Lizardmen needed an Ark of Sotek. Indeed. That was definitely winnable for Vampire Counts. That was definitely winnable, I think. Decent build all round. I'm not like, you know, not a fan of this build. I think the Blood Knights probably could have been replaced with Terrorgeist to try and swoop down and assassinate the Carnosaur and the like, but still, pretty good stuff. Gobbo Slayer just played it so well. That Soul Quench was crazy, and the Banishment, 238 kills, Slann is some good stuff. GG. Shouldn't have kept those Banshees so close. Well played with that first shot, and that's, yeah, that sums it up. If they were a little bit separate, it would have gone a bit better for him, but still. Good stuff, though. Looks like Desert Fox is going to be going Greenskins. So yes, we will see the Green Tide. And we are going to be on Iron Sand Desert. Alright, so we're going to call it from now on Iron Sand Desert. I think you can tell I am still a noob with that Banshee play. Not a noob at all, managing to make it to the semi-finals is very impressive stuff. Let's quickly update the scoreboard. Gobbo Slayer is 1 up here. Hope Random Nix is watching and you know, studying his opponents well here. Maybe he obviously will be coming up against one of these boys in the best of 5 final. I think Banshees are good with other single entity monsters for single entity monster overload. Yeah, that is particularly good. We'll have to see what they do. Yo! What's up, Von? Hope you're doing good, man. I'm pausing my Troy download just to follow the tournament. Yeah, man. It's awesome stuff. We're in the second semi-final now. So Random Nix had a really good first semi-final. Up against Chosen One, managed to take him down in some awesome games, and we'll be seeing him in the best of 5 final. And you've made it in time for the second one, which is Gobbo Slayer, who is a 1-up against Desert Fox. But great to see you here, man. Hope you're doing well. Nice. Parting some words of wisdom there. To be honest, I was re-watching my own battles on stream. Awesome, man. You played those first games really good, man. So I'm excited to see. Looks like Gobbo Slayer is going to go Grudgeon. So we're also seeing Dwarfs against Greenskins. Most consider this to be pretty favourable for the Greenskins since the latest DLC. But Gobbo Slayer, of course, is a Dowie main, I assume, with that name. So I'm sure he's got 1 or 2 tricks up his sleeve. There you go, on Random. Watching his own games. I do that all the time, man. If I'm in like a King of the Hill and I win a couple of games, I'm like, support the channel, but I'm going to go back and watch the rest. Thank you guys for tuning in, by the way. Hope you are enjoying. We've just hit 60 watching at one single time is a record, I'm pretty sure, for us. So thank you so much. We've had so many kind of like record breaking moments recently. It's really cool stuff. We hit the 1,000 sub mark. We got made official YouTube partners, or partner scheme, whatever it's called. And yeah, now hitting records on stream. Awesome stuff. So yeah, if you are feeling like smashing that thumbs up, feel free. If you are new to the channel, welcome, welcome. We do all things Total War Warhammer, especially excited for that Wood Elf DLC, so feel free to subscribe and all that good stuff. You know, all the standard YouTube stuff that I have to say, unfortunately, just to make sure and you guys know what's up. And hopefully you guys have some new features as well, because we are now YouTube partners. So again, I haven't really looked into it, said multiple times, so I think it's set up. I don't know if it is. I don't really know how to check, but we should hopefully have what is it? Super chat and super stickers and all that good stuff. But I don't know how any of it works, if I've set it up correctly, but we'll find out soon. I'll look into a bit more over the weekend. Sky high, the harder he falls. There should be some good stuff. Goblin Slayer, Desert Fox. Well, they're both going to be scheming here. I'd love to see a full Goblin build, personally, from Desert Fox. Give me time, I'm spamming the link in the Italian community. Thanks so much, man. For those who don't know, Von is also a content creator as well. And you should definitely go check his stuff out. I'm not sure if it's in Italian. I can't fully remember. I've been watching a few people from Italy and Germany, and I kind of pop in. I'm like, I have no idea what you guys are saying, but this is great. Samurai Warriors channel for one I check out now and again. And say quack quack, say hello. Been checking out Exploding Hamsters as well, which is in German. So, you know, never know, maybe I'll pick up one or two words and be able to figure them out as I go along. And yeah, been running for about an hour here, making some good time, making good progress. Already into the second semi-final. And I hope Desert Fox manages to fight back here. I'm a big Dowie fan myself. I prefer going Crack Kadrin, just to, you know, show my loyalty to the Ultimate Ungrim, my favourite lord. But looks like I was going the basic Dowie, and we are good to go. Can Desert Fox bring it back here? Did I update the scoreboard? Panicking. Let's check. Yes, I did. Perfect. Cool. I'm going to go a little drink here as we do load into Iron Sand Desert. I've drunk so much water today, it is melting outside. Our Britain's not really used to heat, so we don't have it as bad as other countries, but all our houses are literally built to keep in heat, and none of them have aircon, and oh, it's not as bad today, but it's kind of gone all stormy at this point. But before now, it's been a nightmare. Anyway, we're seeing a lot of Dwarf play today, which is fantastic stuff. It's always good to see them in action. So Goblin Slayer up in the skies has brought Gyrocopter, as well as 4 Gyrocopters, so no Brimstone guns, just the basic ones. Pretty good at clearing out goblins and doing consistent damage over the course of a battle. I believe they do also have a bomb drop as well. We have 1 unit of Ekrund Miners, the Regiment of Renowned Miners, who do come with extra blasting charges, which is going to really help clear out goblins and orc boys and the like. I'd like to see these guys in a secondary line position, just to ensure they can get away with all those blasting charges. For the main battle line, we do have Dwarf Warriors mixed in with Longbeard, so not the most elite force, simply because of how much money he has popped into this massive air force. We do have Iron Drakes with Trollhammer torpedoes to deal with some of the big boys, Dragonback Slayers as well, and we have a glorious hero contingent. Can't get much cooler than this. We have Gotrek, who's the legendary Slayer, the world's greatest and worst Slayer, depending on how you look at the situation. Unbreakable, magic attacks as well, heroic fortitude, all that good stuff. And we have Grombrindle, the White Dwarf, perhaps the most legendary of all dwarfs, with his two-handed axe there, looking incredibly badass, coming in with his flash bomb as well. In the back lines, we are going to be coming in with some artillery. Looks like we have double cannon, which is all cool. And let's go look at the mighty Desert Fox and his goblin hordes. It looks like we do have a Black Orc core though. So he has more grubs, mangy marauders in the front vanguard, as well as some forest goblin spider riders. Going to be very key to try and force back these gyrocopters, but they're so outnumbered, I'm a bit worried here. We do have Snotlin pump wagons. It looks like 2 on one flank and 2 on the other flank as well. In the front line, we have Night Goblin, it looks like fanatics. or it's just basic night goblins. Just night goblins mixed in with nasty skulkers, and we dotted around on either flank, looking very tasty. We also have the regiment of renowned ones as well, which are going to be coming, of course, with the loons of the 8th Peak. Could be doing some huge damage, and come up in a big middle finger up to the dwarfs, actually swinging dwarfs around on chains in front of them. We have triple black orcs, unfortunately no crimson killers here. Pretty good build. We also have Grimgor Ironhide. Oh, what a true champ. Can we get a war for Desert Fox here? Coming in with Grimgor, the mightiest of the Greenskins, with Gitsnek, You're Next, as well as Best of the Best. Now, he's had some huge improvements. He's still not particularly an amazing lord, but he's certainly more viable than he was. And against dwarfs is one faction he can actually, if you can get hold of their characters, can do some really decent work. With an Orc Shaman as well, coming with a Scroll of Shielding, Brainbuster, and here we go. Really cool stuff. The one, I have a big worry here for this Greenskin force. Hang on a sec. Yeah, there's room to go around there. I'm just a little bit worried about this flank, but there is kind of a lot of room to push through from the dwarfs. Just be careful of the line. As the rocks count as the edge. Cool. Just let him know that these rocks actually do count as kind of the edge of the deployment zone. Thanks, he shouldn't want to kiss your forehead. Oh, you've linked his channel. Perfect. Thank you so much, man. This is perfect to watch while farming in WoW Classic. Awesome. I hope you've been enjoying WoW Classic. I was actually tempted to get it when it came out because I used to play when I was a kid, but I suppose I didn't really fully appreciate the thing. Thanks for the reminder. No worries, man. I used to play like when I was in like primary school or something, so I guess I didn't really appreciate it. And I was tempted. Nostalgia nearly dragged me back in, but I didn't end up going for it. I think it's quite expensive, isn't it? You have to kind of pay a monthly thing. Gonna stomp some gits. Love it. All good, bud. Yeah, he should be fine here. Plenty of space to get around there. Plenty of space in the back. And this is quite far away, so plenty of space to kind of wrap up and around if they need to. Oh god, camera does like to jump up there. So yeah, he's not going to be able to stop him from flanking anyway at this point. But it's going to force the Greenskins to run a long way while the gyrocopters do put pressure. Now I'm a big fan of what he did here with his other gyrocopters. Put them on the edges of the map, or at least this edge over here. That one sky high, to stop any vanguard deployment which could sneak in. And it looks like the gyrocopters are annihilating the Morgrub's mangy marauders here, doing some really decent damage out of the gates. And the Greenskin hordes need to take advantage of this. These, of course, are one of the only units which can ping down at the gyrocopters, hence why they're being targeted. But this is the time now for the Greenskins to bomb rush forward as fast as possible. But it's going to be scary stuff. So he is trying to focus down at one of the gyrocopters for the most part, which is a good idea. Forest Goblin Spider Rider archers are just trying to dart back and forth as well. It looks like the copters probably now just going to force their way back and start annihilating the nasty skulkers, which is a fantastic target for them. You can see these poor little gobos are getting burnt and seared at the flesh, which isn't very nice for them. Kind of getting a little bit annihilated here, poor things. And their leadership's going to break very quickly here as well and be forced back. Just going to delay the kind of frontline engagement even more and more, which is looking really bad at this moment. Looks like though the Forest Goblin Spider Rider archers, as well as Morgrub mangy marauders, are now starting to do some pretty decent damage on top of these gyros. Taking down models is going to be key, as Black Orcs need to make it to the front line as well. As the Black Orcs will chew through 90% of this build, Dwarf Warriors and Longbeards will not stand up to them. Grombrindle and will do a little bit better. Cannons are also singing at this point, just trying to focus down targets. And it looks like, I would say, maybe catching units on the edge of the formation, trying to push them off the edge of the battlefield. It looks like they are all going to rally in time. Good luck, have fun, always good to see. The arrows are singing in the air, and gyrocopters taking pretty consistent damage at this point. Morgrub mangy marauders are nearly gone though. Black Orcs also starting to take some damage now. Over on the flanks, Snarling pump wagons are being hammered down by the cannons. Good targeting here by the Gobbo Slayer himself, certainly slaying some Gobbos. And these guys need to keep moving as much as possible. And this is kind of a problem he has at this point. Certain elements of his army are much faster than others. The goblins and Snotling pump wagons are going to race ahead of the black orcs here, which is going to make his attack kind of come in drips and drabs, which is really not what you want. You want to hit them kind of from as many sides as possible in one go. His Iron Drake Trollhound torpedoes are going to be amazing as well up against black orcs. But all three units of the Black Orcs are relatively healthy. Cannon shots are coming in at Grimgore, but he does do the Matrix and Duke, proving he is the greatest git of them all. Going to be running forward here. The Glorious Forest Goblin Spider Riders still trying to chase down those Gyrocopters. Now, the key question is, have they done enough damage on the approach? Black Orcs very healthy. A lot of the nasty Skulkers, though, are going to be lagging behind now because they were forced back, but it's certainly not game over yet. And Gyrocopters still taking consistent damage. And in comes the Snotling Pump Wagon. It's going to be running over the Longbeards. He needs to make sure not to bunch these guys up, or the Smoke Bomb will come in and cause all sorts of problems. And down comes the Flash Bomb, sorry. Glorious rocks falling in the distance, but the Black Orcs are here to support. They can chew through these Longbeards very, very quickly. Night Goblins have pushed in. They need to remember their fanatics and do some glorious damage, and as you can see, they've flooded them through the Longbeards, doing some pretty good stuff, catching the Cannon Crew as well as the Iron Drakes here, so doing some pretty good damage across the board. And we do have a Brainbuster coming down as well, trying to slow down those Iron Drakes, but it's looking a little rough for the Greenskins. Blast and Charlie's doing fantastic work so far. Black Orcs have kind of bunched up together at this point. They've destroyed some Longbeards. Looks like he's trying to overload with this left-hand flank. He needs to get in here and shut down these Iron Drake Trollhammer torpedoes. Well, they will single-handedly, pluck away at these Black Orcs and do some fantastic work. Grimgore is launching his way into the front line, tearing apart Longbeards, cleaving head from shoulders. And let's have a big here we go popped as well on these Black Orcs and nasty Skulkers. Should allow them to pull through the Longbeards very quickly. But a beautiful blasting charge throw by the Equine Miners annihilates the nasty Skulkers and does some decent damage to the Black Orcs as well. The Skirmish Corps is out of ammunition here for Desert Fox, which is a big problem. There is still a decent amount of ammunition left on all of these Gyrocopters. Some of them have lost units, however. In the back lines, Snotling Pump Wagons have managed to push through. They need to keep going. They don't want to get pulled down on by these Dragonback Slayers. Keep working your way through and shut down these Trollhammer torpedoes as much as possible. That poor Orc Shaman has been forced back here. He should be able to come back to the fray if he can escape these Equine Miners in decent time. And in comes some Night Goblins as well, dropping their fanatics along the line of these Dwarf Warriors, doing some pretty good damage, nothing too crazy. The war is pop, they need to push in now and make the most of this. Grimgore has singled out Gotrek, it looks like. Oh no, he's decided, you know what? He's a tough Dowie, I don't want to fight him. I'd rather fight some helpless Cannon Crew here. And he's going to warp these guys, apparently, kind of fling them in different directions, destroying some of the Cannon Crewmen there. Cannons are still focusing down at Snotling Pump Wagons, trying to ensure they don't come back into play. Orc Shaman needs to get back in the action and start dropping some of his buffs. We are going to see a lovely Brainbuster go down on these Longbeards. The really nice use of Grombrindle has no fear, keeping his army unbreakable in a very key moment here. Grombrindle is suffering pretty badly. Black Orcs have him surrounded, beating him down viciously. He's having to leg it, and he's going to need help from the Dragonback Slayers, who may have to get sacrificed into these Black Orcs. However, consistent fire from the Gyrocopters is doing some really nice work as well. Now, in the main engagement, Night Goblins are being forced back. Unfortunately, poor Grimgore is being kited at this point by Gotrek. Nice skirmish play by Desert Fox here, assassinating troops where he can. Here we go, once again, popped on these Black Hawks. Should allow the limited 26 models here to really kind of chew through these Equine Miners quite quickly. But the cannon is firing point-blank range into these poor Black Hawks, sending them back to the war from whence they came. And it's going to be a relatively solid victory there for Gobbo's Slayer. Really nice pressure overall, though. Managing to get into the back lines there from the Greenskins. Good Fanatic play as well. And even the Snotling Pump Wagons going a bit rogue, but they really did just get counterpicked by the builds. Those Gyrocopters, you can see across the board, 82, 77, 93 and 104 is crazy value, especially because they managed to focus down some of the Black Hawks. But GG. Thanks for the games, and thanks for hosting, Ducky. No worry, Desert Fox. You're always welcome back, man. Good competitor, and very impressed on you getting to the semi-finals. 3 games, dude. Just, I love the smell of melted gobbos in the morning. Just didn't really have the correct answer for the gyros. I think you need to go a bit more of a skirmish core in this situation, just to ensure, like, you know, rule it out completely, as it is kind of a match winner if they manage to win that air game. So I do like seeing some archers and so forth. So, random Nix, it is your time to shine. I don't think I have you on my friend group. I'll send a message to him in Discord if he doesn't hop in a second, but password's the same, lobby's the same if you are watching. So I'm going to pop in here to Valley of Thieves. Awesome, they're both here. Hey. So maps are Valley of Thieves, Outskirts. Sorry guys, I'm just going to sort this out with these guys. And change the score and stuff, and then I'll be back chilling with you. Alpine Ridge. Books on. And 2 ridges. So the maps are going to be Valley of Thieves, Outdorf Outskirts, Alpine Ridge, Gorgazan, and Herot Ridge. So let's update the score while I think about it. So that was a 2-0 to Gobbo Slayer. So 2 quick 2-0s in the semi-finals, although there's some very hard-fought games there in both sets. So let's reset the scores. I'm sure Random Nix wouldn't be too happy if Gobbo Slayer gets the 2-0 advantage straight away. But you guys can still see me. Yes, disconnected. Should be back now. Cool. So we did have a bit of a disconnect there. Hopefully we're all back. Oh, I've never had OBS disconnect before. I've had YouTube go down and kind of the internet be cut out and stuff. You guys can see it. Cool. It might be a bit delayed for you, so you might see that in a second. But if it does cut out, it should pop back in. But Stormrunner says you can see it. So this is going to be a good final. I love how Gobbo Slayer says howdy. Howdy, Random Nix. Gobbo Slayer is going Coast. I assume he's going to be a very good Coast player. People who tend to be good Dowie players tend to be very good Coast players. So we do have Vampire Coast. And he is banning Dowie and Empire. 2 really good bans. They're the best counters here to Coast overall. And Random Nix probably going to go with the next best counter, which is High Elves. A very interesting game. The meta for this constantly switches and changes. You often see Coast bring mortars to counter archers, and archers kind of counter the rest of the Vampire Coast build. And there's this whole kind of back and forth mind game situation, which is really good. Make a jingle when you type. Is there a bug where your units decide to walk? I'm not sure. Oh, it looks like if you're locking groups, they do that. I did have a bug the other day where I had a character rally, a mage, who I really needed a regrowth on in a tournament game, and I just couldn't control her. It was really weird. Just couldn't control the them when they rallied, so they ended up just getting picked off and killed, which kind of sucked. As I needed a big fat regrowth from Imric to try and carry the day. I think I would have lost anyway, but that might have been against Gobbo Slayer, now I think of it. Not sure. Anyway, looks like Random Nix is ready. Just waiting on the Gobbo himself. Yeah, so if you look everyone, they're always going to stay in that formation, so the faster units, I suppose, do slow down to match the speed of the lower people. But very well played as a Fox. I believe that was your debut on stream. You certainly gave us a good showing, some good games, and well played getting to the semi-final. Always glad to have you in chat as well. Oh god, have you had units which have rallied but still routing? That kind of sucks. My character didn't even route though, they just stood there. It was a little frustrating. Little bugs do happen now and again. For the most part, considering how, I suppose, what's the best word for it? Like, not optimistic, that's not right. Like, but, I don't know, the game's already quite expansive, there's so much going on at one time, that's why you need a decent PC to run it. with it so like being so expansive and so bold, there's gonna be little like bugs now and again. But considering how big the game is, CA do a really good job of kind of, you know, keeping it up to date, keeping it running. Would an actual Sigma Lord be too OP? From what I've read about Sigma, yes. Sigma is pretty nuts. I seem to remember him. I read a book about him years ago. I seem to believe him jumping off a cliff into an orc war and like one-shotting an orc war boss on a dragon or something. Something ridiculous. What are the rules for DBD? So welcome, No Wilson. You can join my Discord. There's a link down below. And each season we have 4 qualifiers. The winner of each qualifier will come together for a finals, which is going to be hosted soon. So still one more qualifier, probably going to be next week. We're now using banner rules. We switched over from Warhammer Cup rules. You can find them in the Discord anyway, as well as in like a lot of the major Discords. So it basically just stops you kind of spamming stuff and kite drawing and all that type of nasty stuff. And also, of course, a rule for DBD, good sportsmanship as well. You don't have to like buy that. I don't mean you have to be like super talkative or anything, but just, you know, be kind to your opponent and don't be a pain, basically. Which we're really fortunate. We've never really had any problems with that. Here we go. Valley of Thieves, another desert map, straight after the last one. Yeah, using ult and dragon can really help. That's how I move my forces, just the ult and move everyone up in one big blob. And here we go. Game 1 of this best of 5 final. So we have at least 3 more games for you guys, possibly 5. Let's have a look at the Vampire Coast here for Gobbo Slayer. It looks like we are going to have triple Scurvy Dogs. One of the best units in the game, honestly, in my opinion. Unbreakable Dogs is... Oh, Steam crash, that was me. Just going to message them quick, make sure they did drop as well so they don't start the game without us. What do we do now? Did you drop as well? Yes. We rehost same armies. Which is unfortunate, but it's kind of the best we can do in this situation. Let's hope it's not the map. Is my Steam completely down? Steam does tend to do this from time to time, but it tends to sort itself out as well. Reset. Right, let me join. Cool, sorry about this, guys. We'll sort it out. Yeah, not a bad time for it to crash, yeah. So once you're loaded into a game, it very rarely crashes. Okay, Steam's back up and running. Yeah, because I already started the game, unfortunately. DBD then, is it? I don't know what this is. There's 6 people in that one, apparently. Open now. Awesome. Is it this one? Hey. Why can't I speak in chat? Lobby seems bugged. I'll get these guys to rehost. Oh, it might just kick me out again. Yeah, there's a start in the middle. The gyrocopter's used all the steam. I'll find the door. That's a pretty good one, though, in fairness, as far as it goes. Let's hop out. Okay. Oh my god, what is going on with this? Oh, it looks like he closed the thing. Cool. Let them reset. Sorry about this, guys, on the wait. It does unfortunately happen from time to time when it comes to Warhammer. Cool. Gobbo should have me on his friends list, so he should be able to invite me in. And we'll have to wait and see. Restart the game and host yourself. We'll see. If worst comes to worst, I can put it off and on. Let's see if it actually let me host. With no chat. Cool. I'm going to close the game and reopen it. So for you guys, the screen is going to go black. Let's open up the game. There we go. Cool. We're loading up now. And we should be back in. At least it makes the fun a little bit more dramatic. Builds the tension. Keeps you guys waiting. I love all like the answers. Like, do a custom battle. Pray to Jeebus. Must be something. Cool. Hey, we're back. I've closed and opened game. Should be fixed. So I'll try hosting. Sorry about the loud typing, guys. Hey, Ranix is here. Let's go to Valley of Thieves. It might be the map. Occasionally a map will bug you out. So we'll try again and see what happens. And get Gobbo slow in here as well. Good stuff. Looks like we're back. Cool CA, cool CA! Tech support is on call if you need it. Just like hop in a Discord with one of the guys from CA and just call them until they answer. Well, I'm Vampire Coast, that ain't right. Go back. It might just be Steam having a funny five. They do tend to do updates at random times. Matrix broke for a sec. Can you switch factions? Or has it locked you? Let's see, I know that can happen now and again as well. Now we can. Cool, so it just looks wrong maybe. It's just... cool. Well, we will give it a go. If it crashes again, I'll let one of you host. I mean, this is kind of the perfect time, to be honest, to have these problems before the best of 5 set. Because if worse comes to worse, they can always play off stream and then I can cast the replays at a later date, like tomorrow, but I'd rather obviously keep the stream going. Random next host in never fails. We'll have to wait and see. Oh, you are the tech support. We have DBD tech support. That's great. Imagine being on an ancient battlefield in a different universe. You're ready to slay your arch enemies, and the steam flunks, and you can't fight. Yeah, that'd be pretty rough. Hey, we're loaded in. We're loaded in. Glorious stuff. Oh, we loaded in last match, didn't we? And then it kind of crashed. It's strange. These guys stayed in the lobby, so it was on our end, which I think was just a Steam problem. I think they do like small updates and stuff, and it around like crashes the game, which kind of sucks. So we've actually switched deployment zones here, which is pretty funny, but hopefully shouldn't have too much of an impact. So for the forces here of Random Nix, he does have triple Eagle Claw, or quad Eagle Claw bolt thrower, really trying to outshoot the Vampire Coast here. These guys are fantastic answers to cannons, Necrofex Colossuses, and the like. They're incredibly accurate, so I really like that pick so far. He does have double ranges as well. These guys are pretty good at chewing through zombies, so it's nice to see a couple of these guys mixed in as well. Apart from that, it's Silver and Guard as well to kind of buck down his front line. An absolute sea of archers dotted all the way along, just the basic naked ones, as well as Lothran Sea Guard, who of course do have spears as well. So they can fend off, scurvy dogs and the like if they push into the back line. We also have double Illyrian Reavers, no doubt can be used to flank and push around. And then for a hero core, the unit I'm most excited for in this entire build, Alith Ernar, the Shadow King, is coming in completely naked. I'd actually quite like to see him with his missile resistance. And maybe even the Moonbow can do some really decent work here. But still, he's going to be able to sit on an enemy target and just slowly whittle away. And we have a Mage of Fire with Burning Head and and Fireball. Burning Head, does some fantastic work overall. So it looks like he's going to be deploying on the hill, and deploying on another hill in a faraway land is going to be Gobbo Slayer and his Vampire Pirate Hordes. In the back line, we do have triple Scurvy Dogs, fantastic for harassing. They can push back enemy units. They need to be a little bit scared of the Illyrian Reavers, but these guys are going to have to break into that back line. We do have quad mortars here who want to focus down those archers. The main problem they are going to have here is the Eagle Claw bolt throwers are going to counter shoot them rather nicely. In kind of the centre pocket of this build, we do have double deck gunners as well, fantastic against archers because of their amazing range. We then have bombers as well in the secondary line, as most pirate builds do bring. We have polearms as well as deckhand mobs, the soft squishy front line. They're cheerful, they're cheap, and they're just having a good time all around, just kind of staggering around all drunk. So pretty good build. For his leadership core, we do have a Gunnery White on top of this mighty crab here. And we have, of course, Count Noculus, this time on his mighty mount, the Necrofex Colossus. And it's coming in with Captain Roth's Moondial, so basically going for full summons as well as Invocation of Nehek. Fun stuff. And this pirate build is going to be forced forward, unfortunately for them. The bolt throws do come in with a whopping 380 range, and these poor deck gunners only have 245. Mortars do come in 380 as well, but they're not quite as good at taking out enemy artillery. They're not bad, because they do kill the crews quite quickly and kind of force them off. Yeah, good fun stuff. Looks like the edge of the map's plenty distance away. He's going to have to advance a little bit, but we'll see how he does. Good luck, have fun. Because these Illyrian Reavers are kind of blocking off the front line, but there he goes, he's pushing forwards. It's all good to see. And who is your money on? Are you rooting for one of these two fine gentlemen? Do you want the mighty Random Nix to take the victory and the crown to meet Inticity and Suave in the final? Or are you rooting for the extreme meme duck's very own Gobbo Slayer and his undead legions? It's going to be a slow start here, quite a big map as you can see. They do both wheel forward their war machines here. Alith Ernar as well darting ahead of his forces. We're pushing forward, just having a whale of a time in the desert, sweltering heat. This must be Britain at the moment, and he's going to probably start focusing down Count Noculus. Might even focus down the mortars just to ensure they do get off the field incredibly quickly. He doesn't want to push too much. You have to respect the Scurvy Dogs. Alith Ernar is pretty damn squishy in combat, so they could push forward here, but at the same time Illyrian Reavers are very rapid. Mage of Fire as well, just having a little look. If they get a very nice fireball along these lines, they can do some serious damage. In comes the bolt throws, currently shooting at deckhand mobs with their single shot, which is certainly not going to get them much kind of good luck here. Mortars as well are unleashing shells, but they're all going to be at Alifanar, and honestly, if he just stood still, they're probably still going to miss him. They're not very accurate at all. However, Count Noctilus can do some really decent work against him, but Alifanar's bow does a twang here, and he gets a nice shot into Count Noctilus, doing some decent damage. Over the course of battle, he will wear him down. The spread shot is coming in now on the deckhand mobs as well, just enticing the vampires forward. These guys don't want to lose the high ground position. I'm sure he's going to be switching back to single shot to finish off these mortars once they do get in range. Count Noctilus once again taking some more shots, is plodding forward at this point. And it's going to be some good stuff. You can see the spread shot here reaping havoc amongst these zombies. Not doing the most damage though, as they do have a relatively spread out formation. And we're going to get the first burn head very early on here. I'm not the biggest fan of burn heads this early normally, because your opponent can dodge. And you did see he did bring back his deckhand mobs, but unfortunately these guys are very slow. And oh no! The bombers also get a little bit roasted. It looks like he managed to dodge the worst of the burn head there though, and kind of push these troops back. But at least it does slow down the initial engagement as well, which is what the High Elves want. They want to sit back, they want to shoot for as long as possible. Dem bolt throwers indeed. So mortars are now focusing on the Evil Claw bolt throwers and actually doing some pretty decent work. I'm actually kind of surprised at how quickly they managed to do that HP damage, but again, as I said early on, they're going to be killing the crews rather than the pieces, which isn't quite as good, because crews can come back once they of course are broken, and it still has the same amount of damage output here as it always would have. Looks like we are going to see an enchanted ballistics here, increasing the accuracy. Going to help these guys to try and pull down the bolt throws, but again, if ammunition is spent on them, they're going to have a tough time late game against the archers. Count Noctilus has taken an absolute beating at this point. Some real big damage has gone down. And as you can see, Scurvy Dogs as well being forced back, trying to dart in there and getting a little bit too eager. The Lane Reavers are here to, escort them back, show them the way. And the archers unleash a hail of arrows as well. Over here, a beautiful summon by Goblin Slayer though. Pirate Gun Mobs are popped down, and as I said earlier, Alifanar, only 40 armor, not the toughest guy in the world. These guys do unleash a hail of bullets, doing some decent damage. They are going to be broken here to the Lothran Sea Guard's Overwatch fire, as Alifanar does run for the hills. Bolt throws once again are firing in, and it looks like they have managed to destroy one of the mortars. An Invocation Heck did come in, but so did a Burning Head, and the mortars just aren't fast enough to escape that. And he's lost a third here of his mortar crew, and this one's leadership just broke instantly, but an Invocation Heck going to be trying to keep them alive. That major fire getting hugely punished here by Count Noctilus, but she is going to survive, and that means she can still, have full usefulness, I suppose. Looks like one of the mortars, oh, that's from the other one. Still 6 mortars are active, and that can do a ton of damage. You can see 3 of the bolt throws are still alive and well. We've got White pushing forward, soaking up some of that archer fire here. Looks like he's going to be running back to the hills. Fireball was threatened there, and it does come down range. The Fire Mage going for an absolute Kobe here, and it's going to smack directly into the back of that gun. White did some okay damage. Looks like it wasn't overcast or anything too special. Count Noctilus having to pop more invocations than the heck. His entire Winds of Magic being used very early on here, as he is forced back to that consistent pressure from Alifanar. This mortar is down to 2 models now and being focus fired. Things are looking very, very bleak for the vampires in my humble opinion here. However, it's certainly not over yet. Deck gunners can shred archers very effectively, and if that allows the bombers to get close range, they will tear through this front line, but he's been forced forward like this, isolating these troops. Rangers could push forward now and slaughter them very quickly, as long as the archers are active to punish the bombers in return as well. There's a lot of targets for these archers to kind of pick up on. At this point, the Hiles really want to kind of slow play this game. They still have 3 Evil Claw bolt throws active. Ammunition is starting to run relatively low here. Scurvy Dogs on the right-hand flank trying to pressure in, but once again, good diligent play by the High Elves. The Lane Reavers are going to push in and drive these guys back. However, not for, without a cost. These Gunny Mobs are going to push forward and punish these Lane Reavers if they overextend too much. In the front lines, bombers will do fantastic work up against these rangers, but good targeting here by the High Elves, focusing down the bombers and forcing these guys to completely disintegrate is really going to help swing this game even more in the High Elf favour. Archers doing a decent job here as well, focusing down that second bomber unit, and I really like the Alien Reavers being kept on the flanks. However, this one on the left hand side, pretty weak, might want to double kind of slaughter it in one go, goon it out of the scurvy dogs, and then hop around into the back line and shut down some of these weaker troops. Ammunition is starting to get dangerously low for some of the higher units, and they've done a lot of damage, however. This mortar just down to a simple kind of 2 artillery pieces. Looks like a fireball as well, maybe being flung from somewhere, possibly. There it goes. Fireball is going to be forced in here. Is he going to have time to take these guys off the artillery piece? Doesn't look like it, and down goes another mortar. There's a single mortar left now, which luckily survived that bombardment. Deck gunners as well are pretty beat up at this point. So it's looking very bleak here. Kind of the forces of the vampires, which did push forward, have kind of been slaughtered now and slowly picked apart. They came in drips and drabs, which isn't what you want. It looks like the Scurvy Dogs are basically going to try to rally to Count Noctilus at this point. He is very healthy, up to 67 kills as well. Launching some shots into the Rangers as we speak, but there's so many archers still active. A load of Lothran Seaguard as well. Alefnar is pretty healthy. They can consistently just poke more and more down at Count Noctilus as arrows do fly through the sky and plunge into these poor deck guns. And they live pretty miserable lives anyway, so maybe that's, you know, the sweet release of death, maybe. Maybe it's a kindness if they die here. A storm of arrows is flooding in now, and it looks like Goros there kind of knows that he's probably up at this point. He's falling back with his Scurvy Dogs for the moment, though. Still scrapping to the end, which is good to see. Perhaps hoping to kind of draw out some more units, and that maybe Count Noctilus can carry this. Balance power is still relatively even, surprisingly, here. I suppose that is due to the ammunition loss on a lot of these units, and how healthy Count Noctilus is. The mortars are trying to launch a few last salvos if they can. But minus 33 leadership, 41. These guys are crumbling fast, and down they go. More shots are being made into these gunnery deck gunners. Sorry, I need to learn the names of the vampires a little bit better. I do forget them sometimes in the heat of battle. I don't often play the undead factions. They are very powerful, however. Still going to be launching some more shots in. Archers pushing up as well, and Scurvy Dogs trying their best to dodge arrow fire where possible. Looks like he's slowly kind of pushing in one unit after the other, using his units which aren't very valuable at this stage, just to try and stall out the battle, allow Count Noctilus to get as much damage as possible and waste the ammunition on the High Elves. It's a valid strategy, but at the same time there is a lot of ammunition left on these archers, and the Scurvy Dogs are going to have to get in there and feast if possible. A lot of the combat units have been kind of forced out of position a little bit, so there's a nice opening round the flank if you can push through the Illyrian Reavers, which is the big problem here. Count Noctilus is going to be happy to juke some arrow fire at the moment. A big fireball is going to be coming in, and bam, smacking him directly in the chest. He's relatively close to his healing cap as well at this point. The deckhand mobs are going to hold for a decent time against Silver Guard. Silver Guard don't have the best damage output. I would push forward these Rangers to help clear them up a little bit quicker. Looks like the Scurvy Dogs may finally be making their move here, floating around to the right hand side. Illyrian Reavers are going to be pulling back at this point, and going to allow the Rangers to take these guys on. Lothran Seaguard will quite happily fight Scurvy Dogs, especially with the help of the Rangers here, and Illyrian Reavers piling them in as well. We're going to see a nice summon of the deckhand mob as well, trying to force these guys down. Gunnery White is still fighting strong. We're getting a lovely attack coming down as well. There's a beautiful breath attack, or a tear attack going down at the side there. Does break the Rangers and the Lothran Seaguard. It looks like Gobbo Slayer has a few tricks still up his sleeve, and now the Scurvy Dogs are free to push into the back line. Fantastic gambit and play there by Gobbo Slayer. Managing to force back these units. He can now take one unit of Scurvy Dogs to hunt these guys down, but the arrow fire is so punishing here, really damaging these dogs for a decent play all round. Gunnery White is getting very low as well. Count Noctilus trying his best, up to a mighty 146 kills, but he's losing health very fast now, and with him so low, balance power is pushing more and more in favour of the High Elves. There's still going to be 1 or 2 fireballs in the belt as well. Looks like all the Eagle Bolt throws used up their ammunition, and you know it's a good day when you manage to use up all your ammo with all your artillery. Scurvy Dogs being dragged down now by the much more elite and formidable Silvern Guard, poking back these doggos with their mighty spears, and these poor guys are going to start to crumble a little bit. In the centre pocket, Alefnar has had to push into combat. Only 5 kills, but good damage throughout the entire game. Does get whacked pretty heavy there, though, unfortunately for him. But the Gunnery White is very low at this point as well. Count Noctilus continuing to try to kite as much as possible. Scurvy Dogs do go down, though, and as always, it is Count Noctilus versus the world. This happens quite often with him, especially if he's on foot. Lovely shot, though, coming through 2 units there, claiming a few more health lives where possible. It looks like GG's have been said in chat. So very well played. A hotly contested front game there. Yeah, I agree. Random's build was pretty good up against Gobbo's. I think the Eagleclaw bolt throwers really helped out there. I like Alathanar as well in this matchup. I think it's one of the few where he can work very effectively. Quite like him against Dowie as well. Really fun build, basically outshoot the Vampire Coast, which is certainly a good way to do it. And he kind of did both gambits. So a lot of people take Eagleclaw bolt throwers or they take archers, but by taking both, and they're going relatively cheap on his front line, but still, having units to plug the gap, he could counter the mortars with the Eagleclaw bolt throwers, and then counter everything else with the archers. So a really solid build overall by the High Elves. I may well be stealing that one in the future. So we are going to be on to Altdorf Outskirts next. Dorf is up next. Cool, cool. Let's update the scoreboard. Oh, it is now the wrong way around. Let's fix that. Random Nix is up 1-0. Gobbo Slayer does trail. There we go. Awesome stuff. Good first game. Don't bring a bow to a gunfight, they said. No, in Warhammer. Bows are pretty good against guns, like in certain situations, but yeah, otherwise it's quite tough. Cool. Let's see what these guys pick. GG's, yes, GG's all round. Nice to see you, Steve, as well in chat. Went ahead and brought an actual Warhammer last month. Oh, Warhammer! Mate, I love it. I love it. All about an actual Warhammer. I'd quite like a sword, it'd be pretty cool. There's a cool actor called Charlie Hunnam, was the star of Sons of Anarchy, played King Arthur, and was in a really good film came out recently called The Gentleman. And he actually collects weapons. I don't know if they're not just from sets, but like in general life. And it's quite a cool interview of him speaking about a couple of times burglars broke into his house. I guess they just know he's fairly well off as an actor. And they've been kind of scared off because he's quite a big lad. Just been standing there with pulls a samurai sword off a wall, and they just go, you know what? Not today. Just kind of turn around and leave. Random Nix is going to bring Norsca. First time us seeing them on stream today. Banning Greenskins and Lizardmen. I really like the Lizardmen ban there. I think Lizardmen counter Norskins relatively well. Although some people love Norskins in that matchup, so. Some good water there to keep me alive and going. You've seen that interview, is that what inspired you to get the Warhammer? If you're a fan of his, Eric, I highly recommend checking out The Gentleman, the latest Guy Ritchie movie. It's a traditional Guy Ritchie movie. For those who don't know, Guy Ritchie's a British director who does kind of real geezer movies, is the best way to explain it. So kind of like gangster movies, but very British gangster, which is kind of funny. But his movies are really entertaining. They're filmed in a very particular style, which is kind of his own style. And I was someone who actually enjoyed his King Arthur movie as well. It kind of got mixed reviews. I think anytime you do anything like King Arthur, which is such a kind of a historic, well not actual historic, but it's been a story for generations. I don't think whatever you're going to do is going to please people. But I found it fun. Gobbo Slayer is going to go Dwarfs. So again, Norsca versus the Dowie here. You can get some cheap AP here coming in for the forces of the Norscan Marauders with great weapons, a ton of chariots and the like, but at the same time you'll be a little bit careful. We saw earlier what Ironbreakers can do to lightly armoured forces and miners and the like. Yeah, Lock, Stock and Snatch, yeah, they're two of his movies, man. So it's kind of in the same vein of them. I'd recommend it, dude. Let me know what you think. Hope you guys are enjoying. If you are, feel free to hit the thumbs up. See, we've got a record number of people in stream, 66. Just keep pushing that up. It's all good. Tell your family, tell your nans to tune in, say hello, and quack at me in the streets. But yeah, thank you guys so much as always. The support recently has been crazy. The channel has literally like the views and stuff have like doubled the last month. Which is really awesome stuff, so I can't thank you guys enough for, pushing the channel more and more. And just, you know, makes me want to do more and more content for you guys. I'm trying to do a video a day as much as possible, about 5 to 6 times a week, and 1 stream a week as well. We're going to be buffing up to 2 streams a week relatively soon, though. Love to waffle intensifies. Should be some good stuff. Out of Outskirts, though, maybe not the best maps for the Dowie gun line. It's relatively open in patches. There are some trees around the periphery and dotted through the centre as well. But the map's not completely flat. There's some little divots and kind of ruts in the ground where you can hide forces, and it can really kind of shut down cannon play. But Iron Drake's Trollhammer torpedoes, I think, can be really good in this matchup as well if you can protect them. So much Dwarfs this stream. I love it, Storm Runner. We don't get to see them terribly often. Will do. No worries, man. It's a really cool movie. So, can Gobbo Slayer bring this back to a 1-all, or is Random Nick's going to take a you know, dominant early lead in this best of 5? Oh, I'm drinking so much water today. That's so hot. Unfortunately, because I live on like a high street, I actually live above a bakery. It's quite loud outside, so I always have to have my windows closed when I stream, and in the hot weather, that is not fun. But it does, you know, cut out the noise and stuff, which is all good. Not in Warhammer, ironically. Awesome. Looks like Random Nix is ready to rock and roll. Don't like have fun, he says. I'm so excited for this season's grand finals as well. Last season's was insane, with Tlaxlan Soothsayer taking the crown, which is some pretty impressive stuff. And we'll have to see who can do it this year. Anticity did get to the grand final, like the final of the grand finals last time, and he's booked a spot early on. Suave as well is kind of like the Russian master, so 2 different styles of play there as well. Excited for those guys, and one of these bad boys as well, and perhaps one of yourselves in the 4th qualifier, which I'll be putting news about on my Discord probably later this week. Good luck, have fun. And I'm excited. Ready to rock and roll. Have you guys heard about the Warhammer TV shows they're going to be doing? They're going to be doing some 40k ones to start with. I'm hoping they're successful, so they do eventually branch out into Warhammer Fantasy. But at the moment it is... it's really up, so when Gobbo's ready, they're good to go. But it is starting 40k. I think they're doing an Eisenhorn series, as well as a few other shows. Not sure if they're animated or live action. I believe the Eisenhorn one is live action, which I'm praying so much is good. I want it to kind of succeed and see more of those good shows. And there's certainly a good market for it recently. Game of Thrones kind of changed the game quite a lot. And we're seeing a lot of, you know, more kind of fantasy shows making their debut. The Witcher, for example, is amazing. Papa Palpatine, the boss. How's it going, man? Haven't seen you in a little while. Hope you're all good, man. Hope everything's all good for you. You haven't missed any Chaos games yet, but you've missed a pretty awesome stream. We are into the finals here of this 3rd qualifier. And it's Gobbo Slayer up against Random Nix, who did take an early 1-0 lead. And yeah, lots happened, man, since I last saw you. We've become official YouTube content creators, which is cool. Which you know, allows me to do a few more things on YouTube, have super chat and super stickers, all that kind of good stuff, and yeah, just pretty cool stuff all around. It's good to see you, my dude. Big hype also for Dark Tide, the 40k version of Vermintide. I may well play that on the channel if people want me to, because that sounds awesome. I played Vermintide when it first came out on PlayStation, because I didn't have a PC at the time, and obviously the community was kind of dead on PlayStation. I got it quite late, so it didn't really have the same impact, but people seem to really enjoy it. Anyway, back to Warhammer. For the forces of the Norscans here and Random, in the front line we do have some Marauders on the flanks, going to be trying to push round and harass the enemy, including some Berserkers as well. But for the most part, it's going to be what we expected. Marauders with great weapons. They're relatively cheap, they're not very cheerful, they're pretty angry, and they have great weapons which do good AP up against all Dowie forces. We do have double Feral Mammoth. Not a bad idea. These guys are going to work as a battering ram to force their way through that front line and try and shut down the back line as much as possible. And it looks like we have double Marauder Hunters. I'm very, very interested to see how these guys perform. Personally, I prefer Javelins. I know in this matchup, the extra armor piercing of the Hunters may help, but their firing arc is nowhere near as good. So, interesting to see if he can get them in a good position to use them. We have a Famir Belfiend of Shadows as well. We'll get to him in a second. And we have Wolfric the Wanderer on a Chariot. Seafan could be huge here. Did he not bring Hunter of Champions? What? He didn't bring 100 champions. Perhaps just go a bit more cheaper and hoping, pin him on a Chariot instead, I suppose. We do have Famir Belfiend of Shadows coming in with his Pendulum. Oh, is that Pendulum? Nice and Enfeebling Foe, I think. Coming in with Enfeebling Foe, Pit of Shades as well, Scroll of Shielding. So pretty cool build so far. We also have a couple of Norscan Ice Wolves as well to pressure into the back line. Really cool build. I like it quite a lot. Now, for the forces here of Gobbo Slayer on the back ropes, he's going to be going, well, it looks like, not for a box build, but perhaps going for a onion-style play, which I think can work very, very well here. So in his front line, he's going to have a mixture of Longbeards as well as Longbeards with great weapons. Pretty interesting stuff. They do a bit better damage output, I suppose, overall. And Longbeards will hold for a very long time up against Marauders, despite the Marauders' great weapons. We have more Ekrund Miners as well. We saw him use these guys very efficiently in that semi-final. Those blasting charges, if these guys are protected, will do horrific damage up against the Marauders. For our Lord choice, we do have Grombrindle, the White Dwarf, the legendary warrior himself. Seems like he's a big fan of this bad boy. He does come in, of course, with Grombrindle Knows No Fear, as well as a Flash Bomb, very good for catching chariots. In the centre pocket of the onion, we are going to have Thunderers dotted all the way along. Looks like we have 4 units of these guys, expecting some big threats like those Feral Mammoths and Chariots. We have Dragonback Slayers hiding in the trees, lovely position in there. And we do have 1 unit of basic miners protecting a cannon in the back lines. Overall, massive fan of this build as well, so going to be really fun to see how this plays out. The Norscans certainly going to be able to push through this and get onto the Thunderers. With good crossfire and Slayer protection, those Mammoths could go down very quickly here. Who's your money on? I'm on vacation, that makes sense, dude. Well, we've missed you, man. Excited to see when you get back. Random loves his Mammoths, he certainly does. He certainly does. Ready when you're back. Oh, Random went to the toilet quick, that's fine. That's all good stuff. Gonna have a drink of water while we wait for these boys to start. So yeah, who's your money on? I think it really could depend on how the Thunderer play kind of comes out and if they can be shut down quick enough. These Ice Wolves pushing into that line are pretty scary as they do okay damage to the Slayers as well, but they have a long way to kind of loop around, and that cannon can do some consistent damage as well off the gate if it can see anyone. And that is one problem with this map. As you can see, there's this hill, but the cannon shots are going to be launched in here, initially focusing down at the Marauders with great weapons, probably because they were the only unit in range. No doubt they're going to hunt down at the Feral Mammoths when possible. This is what I was talking about earlier on, with these kind of roads and light hills and stuff. Oh, make sure there's no questions. Oh, just good luck, have fun, my dude. Perfect. Perfect to see. But yeah, because of these roads and small hills, the cannon can get messed up a little bit. So I like the not over-investing with the artillery here, but instead going for the Thunderers and waiting for the opponent to get a bit closer. Great Weapon's being hammered pretty bad here, as it does kind of rake its way down the flank of the unit, which is the best way to hit enemy infantry, of course. Mammoths are starting to approach here, and Feral Mammoths are some really awesome models. I don't get to see it terribly often. And they have relatively low leadership, I suppose, which can be a little bit scary for them, especially if they take some early damage from Thunderers and Cannons on the approach. We are going to see a nice bombardment here on the Longbeards. Sorry guys, coughing in the background. We're just going to be a Pit of Shades, catching them and doing some pretty decent damage all round. Huge damage, in fact. I don't know if that was overcast. Sorry, that guy's going to take a quick drink to try and clear my throat. And those Longbeards took about, not quite 2/3 damage there, which is a bit of a shame, and no kills actually done on top of these guys, so they did all survive, but they'll be pushed through quite nicely. So a nice Pit of Shades there to break a section of the Dowie defence down, make it a lot weaker, and then he's going to really try and ramrod through here, push over these Longbeards who are very weakened, and hop into the back line. So actually, really awesome play there. I quite like that gambit. The White Dwarf is going to pop in though to say hello to the Mammoths, and with cannon support as well as Thunderer support, it may not be over yet for the Dwarfs. A fantastic flash bomber has gone down. Dragonback Slayers are pushing forward as well. Marauders charging in to support their big dinos. But both the Feral Mammoths have Rampage, which is a disaster here for Random, as he can no longer push them into the back line. He does, however, have a lovely boat, which, fantastic dodges by Gobbo Slayer, still catches some of the boat, but that could have been two really beat up units at this point. Over on the other flank, the Dwarfs have managed to catch the Marauders with their pants down. Ekrund Miners launching blasting charges and slaughtering the Barbarians here, doing some fantastic work all around. Poor Mammoths are being absolutely annihilated now by the crossfire from the Thunderers. Where are those hounds? They need to get in here as fast as possible. Looks like one unit is trying to shut down the cannon for the most part, but the miners are forcing them back. We have some berserkers pushing it into the back line. Should be able to shut these guys down as the hounds now swarm into the completely undefended back line of these Thunderers, which is fantastic play. Random next on the back foot, but coming back strong here. Feral Mammoth has been forced back. They both should rally, but they're very beat up at this point of the game. Marauders as well, not really having a fun time anywhere they go. We're going to see a second pit of shades coming down on these Longbeards. Dwarfs relatively slow as well, struggle to escape this, and then they get sucked into place into the pit of shades and into the warp and all that horrible stuff. Longbeards taking massive damage here. Very close game. Overall, as expected, Dwarfs did a lot of damage straight at the gate, early games, and Norscans coming back into it. Longbeards with great weapons are now trying to focus down the Berserkers as well as these Ice Wolves, but the cannon has been stopped here. Grombrindle gloriously charging in, swearing oaths of vengeance onto Wulfric the Wanderer, and Wulfric needs to get out of there. He will get hammered by Grombrindle very quickly, and a flash bomber has gone down, pinning Wulfric in place. Thunderers are trying to escape at this point, but the other Thunderers, unfortunately for Gobbo Slayer, are being chased down by Norscan Ice Wolves, which is pretty disastrous stuff. So it looks like after a really rough start, Norscan forces may be sneaking a little bit ahead. I don't know, there's a lot of Dwarfs still around, and the second boat has gone down at this point. Wulfric will be able to escape relatively happily here. Thunderers have rallied. They need to turn and shoot into the Feral Mammoth, despite the fact they are getting clobbered here. Probably the White Dwarf protects. And he does come in here with some lovely clobbers onto Wulfric the Wanderer, who's taking those hits like a champ, popped for a die, and is going to lay it, which is a good idea here. One of the Feral Mammoths is going down to the sheer weight of these Longbeards with great weapons, and that's a real kind of tough core of the Dwarfs to have left, who could kind of grind out this build. Unfortunately, Grombrindle has no fear, has been popped, but it wasn't quite done in time to keep these Thunderers from running, which would have been lovely stuff, to have Thunderers unleashing some bullets in the kind of mix of this. In the distance, Longbeards have returned to be chasing off Marauders. Over in the distance, Norscan Ice Wolves are going to be hunting down that poor cannon crew. Still, 27 kills, did good solid work on the Mammoths as well. In the back lines, we still have some Hunters, as well as the Ekrund Miners, who are still decent melee combatants, need to get back to the main blob. But it looks like the Norscan revival has been a bit short-lived. Thunderers did once again get back into action due to the heroics of Grombrindle. It's kind of taking on all comers himself, and both the Mammoths are fleeing for the hills incredibly low, and there's a good chance they won't return to the field. At this point, Random Nix doing what he should do is shattering units on the edge, stopping these units from coming back, pushing the balance power as much as he can. And at the same time, Gobbo Slayer doing what he should do, rallying all his forces to a centre pocket here, and just so he can protect the Thunderers as much as possible, as he's certainly going to need them to try and force back Wulfric and the like. Balance power is currently in favour of the Norscans, but that could be due to how healthy Wulfric is compared to Grombrindle. Because apart from that, a lot of his forces are kind of running for the hills. More of the Hunters nearly out of ammunition as well. Mammoth very close to the edge, minus 20 leadership as well, probably not going to come back. But these Thunderers desperately trying to make it back home. Wulfric, though, cackling, laughing, screaming war cries as he does run them over. Up to 92 kills. His boat's also been pretty impressive. I can't remember if it's 2 loads of boats or 3. If it's 3, he could still have one active here, which could be really key. So very close game so far. When the game's been going on this long and it's this close, it's been a good game. Marauder Hunters are coming to the field. They've got some ammunition on them. 1 volley left on these guys, 5 on the second unit, which can do some decent damage. The miners aren't going to be too much of a threat. However, there's a chunky amount of Longbeards here, as well as Grombrindle in the mix, and his flash bomb has probably recharged by this point. Thunderers holding down at that centre pocket, going to unleash a few shots here and there when they can, but it looks like they're the only ones who survived. 22 models is not much at all, but every little bit of damage they do on Wulfric helps. Of course, he has no way of healing, so trying to force him back and waiting for that smoke bomb could be the way forward here. So in comes the Norsca Ice Wolves, so I was looking at the chat there quickly. And the miners are going to club these guys down pretty effectively. I mean, Ekron miners, they're still a regiment renowned unit. More miners are pushing forward as well. Grombrindle is hunting down Wolfric the Wanderer, but it looks like it was a bait once again. And the miners too slow to escape the Pit of Shades. You wouldn't think a spell which does magic damage would be good against the Dwarfs, but it's done some really good work. And a boat as well. It's going to push its way along the second unit of Longbeards. Ramix playing out of his skin here to try and win this one. Huge damage on the miners, huge damage on the Longbeards, who are now counter-charging gloriously though into some hunters, and the brave dwarf warriors fear no one, going up against the savage Norscan forces here. It looks like the dwarfs got picked apart a little bit at the end there. That nasty Pit of Shades and boat has done some huge damage, pushed the bounce power very heavily in the favour here of the Norscans. Ekron miners are charging into the hunters, trying to shut them down, but once again, this is going to spread out the Dowie forces, allowing Wolfric to bounce between combats, getting that consistent value, up to over 110 kills here. Thunderers have been pushed off, and they were pretty key in this. Longbeards, though, not so easy to push off. Driving back Marauders Berserkers, driving back Norscan Ice Wolves as well. All these Longbeards need to just stack on top of the White Dwarf at this point for any chance to win. Ice Wolves are starting to run from the field. Berserkers have completely died to the last man, it looks like. We still have the Fimir Balefiend, which Grombrindle is going to go say a hearty hello to. If he can get his attacks off, that Fimir Balefiend is going to go down very quickly. And let's see. Nice little chop there. Doing some pretty decent work. We do have an enfeebling foe popped on one of the healthiest units of Longbeards. Really nice play there. As Wolfric comes in as well, trying to punish them. This game is so incredibly close. Longbeards, hold your lines. As 26 here and 36 here, but that minus 24 defense and attack is really hurting them right now. Unfortunately, this Fimir Balefiend is far too close to the White Dwarf, who is hacking him apart to pieces. So he needs to get his attacks off. And hunters have been forced into the front line. Great weapon marauders are falling. We have one or two more very key volleys coming by these hunters, which is really going to help out in this main line engagement. Guys, we may come down to Lord on Lord here, as the Fimir Balefiend has been hit by a flash bomb, which at least has let Wolfric kind of off the hook for this. And so the dwarves are going to have to club all of the infantry, whilst Wolfric can simply cycle charge until that does happen. Hunters going down to a mixture of Longbeards and miners, but the miners do rout. The Balefiend is running for the hills. Grombrindle needs to leave him alone. He's probably going to rally, but you can't catch him. So yeah, force back these hunters. Now he just needs to chase it down at this second unit, who looks like is running for the hills, as Wolfric cleans up these kind of last troops breaking from the field. Good, diligent play coming in overall. So, yeah, Dwarfs at this point, might as well just follow this way. He's not really going to be able to catch the hunters, but force these units off, break them, try and get your miners back as well. All these little drags of units can be really important. Wolfric is simply going to roam around and try and finish them off, while the Fimir Balefiend does, of course, gain, more magic. Does he have Arcane Conduit? He does. I don't know if he's used a Scroll of Shielding. If he did, I missed it. But if that's, he's got that in his back pocket late game with Wolfric, could be pretty huge. So Longbeards have broken once more, and it is down to this one unit of Longbeards, 25 of them, and Grombrindle here, trying to hold the line. Whilst he can still cycle charge, Wolfric is going to be coming in here where possible, but every single hit that does connect is going to be pretty huge. Longbeards do charge in gloriously, and a load of dwarf forces are on the periphery, need to come back into action. I don't know if they're really going to cause too much yet. So the Marauder Hunters are bogging down at Grombrindle for as long as they can. It's going to allow Wolfric to cycle charge here, and the White Dwarf breaks to the Fimir Balefiend, and that is going to be game. That was a crazy game, so scrappy. But the Dwarfs do get dragged down there. If he had one more flash bomb, perhaps, to bog those troops down at the right time, it could have worked. He kind of risked it on trying to catch the Balefiend in the earlier engagement. We probably should have saved it for Wolfric, but fantastic game by both players. I really love this Goblin Slayer build. I love the Onion style of play. I think it's slightly better than the box in most matchups. But unfortunately, couldn't stop the Mammoths. Great early damage, then the Norscans kind of fought back, got into the lead, and then the Dwarves clawed their way back into the game, but Chariots are so good against Dwarfs, it's really hard to deal with, and despite Goblin Slayer's excellent play, the Wolfric the Wanderer, 155 kills, was a real MVP there at the end. Hunters did good as well, I'm impressed to see them go well. GG. Fantastic game. Loved builds. 4 Brimstone guns random Nix was questioning. That was some really cool stuff. So let's now go to Alpine Ridge for perhaps the final game of the stream, we will have to see. So Random Mix is now 2 up. But don't worry, it is a best of 5, so there's plenty of time. Alpine Ridge is up next. Oh, what did I? Alpine Ridge is up next. Oh, I'm sure they'll get what I mean. Damn, Random had to play really well at the end there. Yeah, he scrapped. They both did. That was very well played to both of them. Random Mix at the end. Anyone new to the game is kind of showing them what you need to do. You need to hunt down those units on the periphery, push the balance power as much as possible in your favour, stop those dwarves from rallying and having a contribution at the end of the game, use your added mobility, and then you go in for the kill. But that was crazy. That might have been the best game of the stream so far. That was really good. Yeah, exactly what Samurai Warrior said. GG, Haverlands. It's a beautiful game. That was some awesome stuff. Alpine Ridge, I know. Oh, was it best of 5? Yeah, I didn't know yet. Cool, cool. Yeah, best of 5. It's not over yet. Gobbo can still come out the gate swinging. Maybe over if he wins this game, though, in a 3-0 sweep. Well, both the semi-finals are 2-0 sweeps as well, so it'll be a rather, quick stream, but still good stuff. We still have 3 games ahead of us. A random, either taunting his opponent there a little bit, or maybe just not being that confident. We will have to see. Alpine Ridge is normally the map I use for the 3rd game in the finals, just because I think it's quite thematic if someone has 2-0'd at one point, of both the players trying to crawl their way to the top of the hill and hold that crown high above them, and say, this is my hill, I'm the king. Hey, Ronan, yes, Tech 9. The Tech 9 Ridge. I've seen Tech 9 live, Ronan. Saw him in Bristol, I think I want to say. It was pretty insane. I nearly died. Yeah, I had a bad leg at the time, and I accidentally got caught. I was like, I'm not going to get into a mosh pit no matter what happens. I'm not the tallest guy in the world, not the biggest guy, so I was like, mosh pit, not the best idea with a bad leg. So I was like, whatever happens, I'm going to avoid it, and it just formed around me. I had to grab 2 people and kind of push my way through. What's up, Elite? Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. You're here in time for the finals. So we've had 2 very good semi-finals, and now we're on the final. Possibly the final game, or possibly 3 more. But don't worry, the whole video will be loaded up as well. For some reason, YouTube takes an absolute age at the moment to process streams, so the video will probably be up tomorrow morning by the time it's processed. Which is really weird, because my videos process very quickly, but who knows? Who knows what goes on in the mind of the mighty YouTube. Yeah, Ronan, it was a really cool experience, though. It was some really cool stuff. I think they're just considering what picks they're going to be bringing. Need to check Discord quickly because I have a few messages. There's a Fox. I've just seen all the replays you posted. Thank you. I now have a ton of games to cast, which is going to be good stuff. Make sure we have no questions on Discord. Looks like we're all good in the herd. Cool. Yeah, it looks like we're weird. Whose turn is it to pick and ban? Gosh, I think it's go to pick, I think. Let me double check. Make sure these guys aren't like waiting on me for anything. So Gobbo picked first, Random Mix picked second, so yeah, Gobbo. If you are here now, just open it in a new window and go all the way back on the video and let it load. Then you can watch it. That's a really good idea. Yeah, so if you don't want to wait for it to take forever to process on YouTube, open this now in a different video if you've missed some of the early battles. Just pause it, come back, chill out. You can chill out with the live stream still, and watch all the games, and then close this tab, open up the previous tab. You can go through and watch everything straight away, rather than having to wait till tomorrow morning. No double bands. Only in final game. So it looks like Ghost Slayer was thinking Empire, but you cannot ban the same faction twice in the same matchup until the final game, because then what will happen, the person who won the second to last game will pick 3 factions, their opponent will ban them, and one of them, and then they'll pick, and the first player will pick from the remaining 2 factions they have. So if you couldn't ban twice, then you'd be in real deep trouble, because they could just pick factions you've already banned, and you'd kind of be forced to play in certain ways. I don't even remember what I banned. It's funny. I'm sure they'll talk it through and figure it out together. I think we've been going for about... what time did we start this? I think we've been going for about 2 hours now, which is making pretty good time. These semi-finals and finals normally take about between 2 hours to 3 hours. They've had consistent people watching, like really high numbers the entire time. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope you're enjoying as much as it is fun to cast these games. I actually partly... I think it depends on the day, but I do enjoy casting at least equal, probably a bit more actually than playing myself. When you play like in a big tournament and you win a load of games, it feels really good. But apart from that, casting's so much fun. Getting to see kind of like elite players go against it, predict the builds, see the different tactics. It's kind of like watching a war documentary, which is really cool stuff. Goblin Slayer is picking High Elves. He's a very good High Elf player. So we'll see. But yes. Ban Bretonians and Greenskins. Good stuff. I know a lot of High Elf players tend to struggle up against Bretonia. I think they've got a few tools they can use against Bretonian forces, but I know Red Legion, who plays High Elves quite a lot, hates that matchup. Sometimes I think a lot of people kind of commit to a dragon and regrowth, which I don't think is the way to go, as it kind of gets pinned down and cav very quickly, across the board. You can counter charge very quickly and kind of hammer home and stuff. But Imric on horseback can be pretty good there with anti-large. And I love seeing Imric. It's always good fun time. Let's have a little bit of a drink to keep me alive. So you guys will always be seeing a few small changes on the channel. So I've actually commissioned some artwork for a new profile picture and a new cover photo for the channel. So don't be alarmed if a picture of a weird duck does appear kind of on your suggestions. It's just me still. So the channel's all the same, but there's not going to be like a little Skaven there anymore. It's going to be an actual little rubber duck, which is going to be quite cool. And we're also designing some merch and, not merch, but like giveaways and prizes and a little bit of merch and that kind of stuff. Which is going to be really cool. Got an artist working on it now, quite hard on it. And we were going to celebrate the 1,000 sub mark actually by doing a celebration stream and doing some giveaways and prizes and stuff that we're creating, which is really cool stuff, but we hit 1,000 much faster than I thought we would, so they're still currently in production, but that stream will still happen. So yeah, be on the lookout for that kind of stuff. It's going to be quite cool. I'll go with emo. Oh, Empire. I thought he was going to go for Dark Elves there, which would be kind of funny. I hope Brandix goes Skaven here. Looks like he's going Empire. Pretty fun matchup overall. I think, I don't know who it favours. I'm expecting to see a lot of Archer fire coming in from Gobbo Slayer to pin down handgunners and the like, and then going quite cav heavy can work quite nicely. I don't know what your guys' experiences here are. Honestly, it's going to sound terrible. And I'm very biased to it because I'm a big fan of King Theoden. He is the best character in Lord of the Rings, for those who don't know. Going all cav with High Elves here. I think it's a matchup that can certainly work. You get a couple of Illyrian Reavers to push out Outriders and Pistoliers and the like. Then you get a ton of Dragon Princes, a ton of Silver Helms, any swordsmen your opponent's brought, which can be relatively common because they chew through Spearmen, are just completely null and void, not going to do anything all game. You can flood the back lines, really shut down cannons and Hellblasters and all that good stuff. And yeah, it can certainly do pretty decent work. And you come in, of course, with like a Lariel on a horse, big old healing blob. Pretty standard stuff. However, it does really struggle to deal with steam tanks. And this is a matchup where steam tanks are actually pretty good, despite the fact how most people consider them to be pretty memey otherwise. What's up, Chosen One? How's it going, bud? Really good games earlier. Really impressive display as always. Yeah, it's 2-0 so far, man. It's best of 5. Finals are always best of 5. But Rando could seal it here, perhaps. Which would be some good stuff. Well, I kind of want more games, to be honest. So I'm secretly rooting for Gobbo here. Good luck to have fun. Looks like he's ready. Wicked steam tanked me in this matchup. It works, honestly. It's I've been steam tanked by H1 Sun in this matchup. We did a really cool tournament a couple of months back called like the Content Creators Tournament, which was hosted by Samurai Warrior. So they got a little YouTubers together to play some games. It was a really cool experience because it was the first time I got to meet some of the guys as well. And I did better than expected getting to semi-finals, which was some good stuff. But you should be able to find a link to that kind of like on my channel and on Samurai's channel. There were some games, Turin's, I think Darv was involved as well. I want to say Zardar was, Exploding Hamster was. It was really cool. I will play some awesome games against those guys. Good fun, have luck. You don't want them to have luck, that's the thing. You want bad luck, but have fun. Oh, looks like these guys are good to go. That wasn't according to any expected plan, and trust me when I say there wasn't any. What's that for, Chosen One? Oh, the Wood Elf game! Oh, yes. I loved the Wood Elf game. I loved it. Honestly, it could have worked. It's just the Mongols. If you hadn't picked them, you'd have been in a really good spot, but they decimated your kind of backline force, and then you just didn't have enough to swarm. And Mongols are really risky because Deepwood Scouts, which are quite often in this matchup, or Wave Watchers, annihilate them so quickly. So it was a risky pick, but it definitely paid off for him there. Sunmaker and Volk is also a super fun combo. I know, Von, you're a big fan of the Empire. Hopefully we get to see some of your glorious war wagons, or it looks like maybe not. So, for the forces of Random Nix here, trying to secure his place in this season's Grand Finals with a dominant 2-0 lead, is going to be coming in with the Empire. And it looks like he's in fact gone triple mortars in the front line. They can do very good up against High Elves, as High Elves are a very tightly packed formation. It looks like the Empire is well pretty prepared for a cav rush, coming in with triple Demigryph Knights. Now, something I've learned relatively recently, actually, due to the help of Alistair Deimos, is Demigryph Knights with the Lances actually perform better against cavalry than the Halberd version, which is pretty insane, because these guys do a lot more shock damage and just more damage overall, basically. They've got a bigger damage output. So they actually do better against enemy cav, which I was really surprised. Halberds are only better against monsters, so hopefully we'll see a lot more of these guys. They have some of the most awesome attack animations when the Lances drop. It's so cool. For the rest of his build, it looks like he has Spearmen as well as mixed in with Swordsmen, all dotted along the front line. Spearmen protecting the flanks and the back line. Pretty standard stuff, but really cool build overall. Up in the skies, we do have the mighty Karl Franz, who is going to be dual-wielding the Garl Mirage, the Warhammer itself, and the Reichland Runefang, coming down with a Jade Wizard with Earthblood and a Power Stone, as to be expected. So I was a little surprised there's no regrowth, but perhaps that's because he wants this Manticore summon as well with the Amber Wizard. Once again, a really solid build coming in here. Now for the High Elves and Gobbo Slayer trying to get his way back into this game, we have a pretty damn interesting build all round. We have a bomb rush of Rangers in the front line who are going to decimate these Swordsmen very quickly. You need to be careful of the cav, however, but they're pretty good against the majority of this enemy build. We have one unit of the Fireborn who will be good against the Demigryphs, but are certainly going to get swarmed. Double Noble on horseback here as well. Anti-large, decent answer for the Demigryphs, but don't want to get isolated up against them. And we have a Flying Corps of double Flamesfire Phoenix. Really interesting stuff. Don't see those guys terribly often. And Alariel the Radiant come with Earthblood, Fast Protection, and Star of Avalon. These guys can even take the fight up in the skies up against Karl Franz here. 3-on-1. They should be able to win that, and there's no handgunners to shut them down. Hidden over in the trees, we have some Illyrian Reavers as well, who are certainly going to dart back onto these mortars. So this is going to be really interesting. Demigryphs can certainly hammer the Rangers if the High Elves aren't careful. And it looks like that's exactly what's going to happen out of the gate. But at the same time, Karl Franz could quite comfortably get sniped here. Fireball are going to countercharge as much as possible, as well as one of the Flamesfire Phoenixes. Demigryphs do turn their charge, though, to get the glorious countercharge into the Fireborn, and 3 units on 1. They're going to suffer some losses, but they should be able to swarm it early on. And we have Earthbloods coming down on top of the Demigryphs, as well as Reikland Runefang and Stand Your Ground. Nobles do charge in. Extended Earthblood has been popped. The Fireborn have very wisely fallen back to get healed, and the Rangers are coming in just trying to burst these guys down. Nobles should do some pretty good damage here as well. Really key early engagement. Mortars are doing pretty good work onto Rangers here. Rangers going to be colliding with Swordsmen and carving up those state troops very effectively. But the main fight is going down in the blob here. We do have a Starved Avalon trying to heal up as many troops as possible, but so many Demigryph Knights. Flamesfire Phoenix has been forced off already. We are going to get some fire drops by the Flamesfire Phoenix. And it looks like Noble's doing some fantastic work up against these Demis all round. Alarielle has fast protection popped on her, but needs to fall back. She's now surrounded by Karl Franz as well as the Manticore. She needs to escape this way and get up into the air as fast as possible. Starve, Avalon and Earthbound stuff, keeping it active for now, but it's scary stuff. Flamesfire Phoenix does pop down as well. Fireborn forced in. It's just a crazy blob fight in that centre pocket, which the mortars are making the most of, you know. Come in here and do some decent damage. Unfortunately, Goldslayer has forgot his Illyrian Reavers. They have a clear shot here into the back line. They could take out all 3 mortars very carefully if he can remember those guys. But of course, he's got a ton of micro to manage in this centre pocket, including the poor Alarielle, who's getting beat down so badly here. Extended Earthblood trying to keep it active, but Karl Franz coming in with a rock-hard hammer, clobbering her to death with Demigryph Knights as well. And losing a L'Oreal like that could really cost Goldslayer the game. Apart from that, he's doing okay. Demigryphs are very low, both Nobles are very healthy, and these Illyrian Reavers can clear up pretty much the rest of this build. But with a L'Oreal going like that, I think this is certainly in the hands here of Random Nix. That Manticore Summon, hugely important here. Pinning in a L'Oreal allows Karl Franz to really give her the business overall with this Warhammer. Phoenix up in the sky, going to be dying down as well. Looks like we might be going for a bit of an assassination attempt on Karl Franz. We have some fire poops coming down as well. And all the Demigryph Knights have stood in combat a little bit too long against these Nobles. And with the fire poops coming in, they're getting very low. But because the loss of the Lord, I think that could be game. So these lads were just saying good luck, have fun to each other. Flamesfire Phoenixes are being pushed off here. If they can get maybe a rebirth proc or something and back into the air, maybe. With the 2 Phoenixes at full health, there's still a chance for a good game here. Illyrian Reavers have managed to break one of the mortars. Need to be careful of these swordsmen running in, but yeah, clear up these guys, swoop along to the next one and really clear up these troops. Rangers unfortunately didn't have too many good targets early on. They are pulling apart spearmen and the like. Karl Franz is just scarily healthy. And oh, that is disaster. The Flamesfire Phoenix is shattered at this point, so it definitely can't get its rebirth now. That's a real big disaster, unfortunately, there. Fireborn are lancing their way in, getting a nice rear charge on the Demigryph Knights. Mortars doing some good work all round, but it looks like the second one is about to be cleared up here as well. Spearman desperately trying to get back to protect this final mortar. Balance power is just so heavily in favour of the Empire at this point. Double Noble, though, certainly still can pack a punch. But unfortunately for them, they're going to get isolated by cycle charging Karl Franz, and that's not where any Noble wants to be. And the Demigryph Knights have chevroned up. They've done huge work throughout the course of the game, and I think that is going to be a 3-0 to Random Nix, doing some really fantastic work, playing out of his skin. Really fine form today overall. His mortars are being pulled down in the back line, but Spearmen have managed to catch the Illyrian Reavers. Going to break those guys off. Army losses does come in, and it is a 3-0. Crazy stuff. Crazy, crazy stuff. Bird build was very cool. Hi, Amove. I was a few minutes late to sign up to Tawny. I wanted to cry many tears. Man, the stream's been great. I highly recommend going back and checking it out, and I hope to see you next week, man. We will be doing it again. I'll drop you a message to try and remind you and let you know. But yeah, 2 really fun builds. I'm really cool build coming with the double Flamesfire Phoenix as well as a L'Oreal. Very cool stuff all round, but just got swarmed by the triple Demigryph Knights, which once again showing their value with those lances over the halberds. GG. Great set of games. Well done. Gobbo. Get into the finals. A huge congratulations to this week's champ. Oh, I said congratulations. Oh my god. Oh god. You have booked a space in this season's files. My spelling, or my fast typing is not too great, funny enough. Cool. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm going to quickly update the scoreboard and then I'll come chill out with you guys. So dominant display, Random Nicks taking the semi-final 2-0 and the final 3-0, doing some really solid work all round and a fantastic play. Nice to see him on form, taking out a former champ, no doubt. So he has booked his space in the finals alongside Inticity and Suave, which is some crazy combatants we have. Inticity, Suave and Random Nicks, and there's a chance for one more finalist. That will probably be happening next Wednesday. I'll just keep an eye on my Discord and the kind of tournament Discords and stuff where I'll make an announcement of where it is going to be. But hope you guys enjoyed. 4 Sigma indeed. What's up, Gotama? I did see your Discord message, by the way. I was just busy organising the tournament, but thank you. I'm certainly going to be doing your suggestions. So thanks, dude. Oh, you're distracted, Dave. No worries, man. It happens. The nobles were on horses. Yeah, both nobles were on horses. Yeah, there's no worry there. I mean, it doesn't matter in the end anyway, because the Empire won, but yeah, the nobles were on horses, not chariots, so it's fine. Watching on your phone. No worries, man. Anyway, guys, hope you did enjoy. It's been an epic stream as always. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for all the support we've been receiving recently. It's been pretty crazy stuff all around. So I hope you guys had fun. I think Random is in chat now if you want to ask him a few questions about being champion. And yeah, massive shout out to him, booking his spot in the finals. If you have any questions, feel free to ask now. But apart from that, yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. If you did enjoyed, give it a big old thumbs up and all that good stuff. And yeah, good. So yeah, I'm excited. So yeah, probably next Wednesday is going to be the last qualifier. Anyone can enter. If you do want to enter, simply join my Discord, and that's where you can stay kind of up to date and stuff. But yes, massive congrats, Random. Shetland is correct. And thank you guys for tuning in the entire time as well. We had like 50 to 60 people watching the entire stream, which is pretty crazy stuff, and definitely a new record for the stream. So guys, it looks like there's no questions, so we are going to leave it there. And make sure I updated the scoreboard. I did. Awesome. Alright guys, thank you for tuning in, and as always, peace, and stay awesome.